The following announcement is paid for by the Wrestling with Nerds.
From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
Hey there, the name's Nukem, Duke Nukem, and you're watching the Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast. For some unknown reason, enjoy.
This honky tonk man, greatest intercontinental champion of all time, and you're watching Wrestling with Nerds podcast. Yes, that's my favorite. Shake, rattle, and roll.
What's going on, wrestling nerds, and welcome to this week's episode of what's with the hair? We're talking about 1997's this time August and September because some of us might have had a lot going on these last couple weeks, and we're playing a little catch up right now. So right now we are tied 3-3. July was a complete wash, so that's our one to get out of an even number.
We're tied 3.5 to 3.5, sir.
Hey, fine, whatever you say, boss. Whatever you say. But yeah, we're gonna start with August, then go right into September. A lot is going on both shows, as TJ has shown me his thesis paper. But Ryan, where do you want to start here with this? But before we do that, hit that like button, subscribe, follow, whatever you're watching on, and come chat with us. We love to have the chat room full of nerds.
Well, I'm thinking of a number
Nerds.
between 1 and 10. Go ahead.
2.
5.
It's 8. TJ goes first.
Who the hell guesses 2? You basically just gave me the every other number. I could have guessed 4 and still been right.
Whenever somebody says guess numbers, I always attribute that to baseball players, football players, or whatever.
So you went with
Yeah.
Jeter?
I went with Jeter.
Oh my god.
I went
Literally,
with 8.
I could have guessed 4.
I went with 8 for Dale Earnhardt Jr., so...
Same ballpark.
Wrong sport again!
Wrong sport, but same complex? I don't... That's the right one? So, I also apologize. You might hear me cough and do all that stuff throughout it, so just fair warning. I'll try to mute my mic.
You have a button?
I do. I have multiple buttons, but knowing when it's going to happen is a completely different story.
Multiple buttons. Okay. So,
Oh,
TJ,
Burbo!
what do you want to talk about?
I suppose we must go in with the August 4th Nitro.
August 4th, 1997, from the Palace of Auburn Hills in Detroit, Michigan. Well, Auburn Hills, Michigan. The suburbs of Detroit, Michigan.
Detroit's beating Dallas. Go Detroit.
Wait. I just thought of something.
Oh, boy.
TJ can't go first.
Why?
August 3rd is SummerSlam.
You're right. I did that for nothing. Let's go to SummerSlam. Heart and Soul, live from East Rutherford, New Jersey, the Continental Airlines. 20,213 people.
Way to run that down really fast, Ryan. I like it. And we start off with an absolute banger of a match. Mankind versus Hunter Hearst Helmsley in a steel cage match.
A salad steel cage match, dog. Salad steel cage.
Ryan, when you mentioned a couple weeks ago
I'm
that
dark.
it's gonna... Yes, you are. But we're all
Yeah.
dark here. That's why we get along so well. Um. Shoot. TJ made the face.
I
and
mentioned
brain
you
farted.
are in. I mentioned that you are in for a series of Mankind, Mick Foley, Triple H matches, and this is the start of it.
It's not just
Well,
It's not just Mankind, as we're gonna get to a
sorry.
little bit later.
It started at King of the Ring. This is where it starts getting hot.
Yeah, and they continue to fight inside that steel cage, as China, I'm pretty sure, is playing bodyguard on the outside. And as Mankind goes to leave, and I don't know how there was no blood produced off of this, slams the steel cage door right onto Mick Foley's face.
I was
And
gonna say TJ's hitting a line, getting a bump. No, and keep in mind this is the old WWF blue cage. This is not a chain link fence steel
no,
cage. This is the solid blue bar steel cage that has no give whatsoever.
and it sounded solid.
Yeah, and
Ugh.
this is one of my favorite Foley Hunter matches. Um, and you get a little peek of towards like the alter ego of Mick Foley living out Mick Foley's dream. He tears his shirt open, does this super fly high Jimmy Snuka jump off the top of the cage. You're starting to get more of the three face. This is the start of the dig of the three faces of Foley.
And it very much picks up as we go on through the rest of the year.
Keep in mind, of all the matches that's left on this card, it gets the third amount of time. Or
Yes.
second amount of time. Sorry, second amount of time.
Which, respectfully, first match, yeah, good move. Put
Yeah.
this out first, and you start off with an absolute banger. But then we go into a relatively short 7-minute match where if Brian Pillman loses, he has to wear a dress.
Yeah, this was a good little feud. Brian Pillman makes mention and hints that him and Marlena were together before she married Dustin. Starts getting a little personal.
Multiple times.
Makes the accusation. Is it before SummerSlam that the accusation is made that their daughter is?
It's insinuated, but he hasn't said it yet. He says it right before Ground Zero.
Okay, that's what I thought. But that Dakota is his. These are two really good workers. If this was, unfortunately for Pillman, we're getting to the end of his life.
Pretty close.
But this is also like, this isn't a prime Brian Pillman. If this match was 4 years earlier, this would have been better than the first match with Dustin and Pillman. But Pillman and Dustin do the best they can. Goldust gets the win, and Brian Pillman's got to wear a dress until he wins.
And it's great. It's amazing to see how Goldust and Marlena continue to prank him throughout the upcoming weeks with skimpy dress here, skimpy dress there. This one's got a little lacing on it, or it's really, really tight and he can't get it on. Legion of Doom, Hawk and Animal defeating the Godwins. It's a Legion of Doom's match. Very good match. A lot of Godwin heat in this match, which they are building big time.
I have to laugh because, you know me, I love my wrestling podcast, and I'll give them a shout out. The Undertaker's podcast, 6 Feet Under, just recently in the last couple weeks had the Godwins on there. Of course, the Henry Godwin was an original member of BSK. So he had him on there, and oh my God, the stories that Phineas and Henry tell on their podcast. If you guys haven't checked out 6 Feet Under yet, I very push hard that you go watch it on YouTube.
I didn't know it existed, and now I'm very interested.
It is.
Ryan's mentioned it a couple times.
Yeah,
and it's on
Phineas's Dennis Knight's discussions about things and how far whacked out he is in the head. It's entertaining to watch, and Undertaker can just laugh at him. But yeah, Henry Godwin and Henry and Phineas against the Doomers. They're the ones that broke Henry's neck. They're just 4 giant men beating the hell out of each other.
TJ,
and
what do you
it's
say?
fun to
Man
watch.
meat?
Big meaty men beating meat.
I think it's slapping meat, but they don't slap. So yeah, beating's a good one.
That's Big E's line, famous line.
But it's amazing, and it was a fun tag match. I like watching these guys in tag matches.
Los Boricuas versus the
I think you
Disciples.
skipped one.
I did. You're right. The British Bulldog defeats Ken Shamrock to hold on to that WWF European Championship. Ken Shamrock literally kicks the shit out of everybody in this match and gets disqualified. Not
Yeah,
disqualified, but
Oh, he gets disqualified. This was the one thing I always hated about how they booked Ken Shamrock.
Mhm.
Ken Shamrock should have been like one of the top guys in the WWF for the most part. And every time he was in a main event match or a high stakes match, he would forget what he's doing and just go become the world dangerous man
yeah.
and eliminate everybody and get disqualified so he doesn't win the match.
He
I hate
also
it. They did it with him later on with him and The Rock, and it's just
has a huge
hate
issue
it.
cutting promos with intensity. He starts
Yeah,
fumbling and fumbling and fumbling.
well, I mean, you got to think he's coming from the UFC, and at that point, they didn't cut promos. That was probably the one part of his game that wasn't good was his promos. If I'm not mistaken, is it a pile of dog food or is it dog crap that he belly to belly's Bulldog on?
It's dog food.
Okay. Either way, it looked disgusting, and I
It
can
was
only
disgusting.
imagine. Yeah. I don't like dog food of any kind. I think it smells and stinks and just.
Well, all wet foods, whether
I
it's cat or dog.
I think dry dog food makes me heave too. That's why I don't have dogs.
Really? I don't
Yeah,
smell
I hate
anything with
this.
dry
I
dog food.
hate the smell of dog food.
All right, so let's move into match number 5.
TJ, while you're eating dog food, what do you think of a dog food?
While I'm eating dog food? Is that what you said? Nah, dog food, gross. Roman
Ugh.
Reigns is all I can think of. Blech.
Oh,
him and Baron
yeah.
Corbin. Yeah.
All I can hope for during that segment was it was the Diddy more beef stew. The cheap beef stew you can get at the grocery store that's delicious. Yeah, that's all I could ever hope that was.
Wait, so you're actually gonna give me dog food? Yeah, we're trying to keep it authentic. You could make so much stuff look like dog food. Los Boricuas defeating the Disciples of Apocalypse in 8-man tag match. These guys hate each other, and this was basically a come down after the Ken Shamrock and British Bulldog, because Ken Shamrock, after the bell, it says it only goes 7.5 minutes. He's in the ring for another 5 or 6, killing everybody.
This match to me was 2 good guys, 2 good wrestlers with 3 partners.
Yeah.
Being Savio and Crush, good
yeah.
partners. It was just a match to fill the card.
Yeah. And when Crush and Savio aren't in the ring, it's boring as shit.
Yeah. This card, we're running through the card, but there's also some really, really bad promo segments on this card. They give the governor of New Jersey a round of applause
belt.
and literally hand her. It's the same championship belt that the Undertaker comes out to the ring with later on. It's not like they're giving it to her for a prize. We're giving it for her for the photo op, and then bitch, we're taking it back.
Oh, and then the $1 million casket,
yeah,
SummerSlam casket with Sonny and Sable.
Yeah, they awarded the mayor this honor because she lowered the taxes on pro wrestling events in the state of New Jersey. Yeah, like who cares?
Thank you for lowering the taxes so we can come here and perform.
Thank you for lowering the taxes here in New Jersey. We will be leaving and not coming back for another 6 months. Thank you. Goodbye. And then the god awful $1 million speech that was for it was oh shoot, it was one of the Kids Zone Foundation or
Discovery
one of them,
Zone.
Discovery Zone, that's what it was. The best part of it was we got to watch Sonny and Sable be awkward for like 10 minutes. So that was
with a
about the
child.
only.
With a child.
That's about the only thing. Yeah.
That kid must
And
have been
then
dreaming of sunny days for quite a while.
Well, remember what was it? No, hold it down. Hold it down so I can read the number. And Sable's holding it like right here. No, we're not in the Attitude Era yet, Todd Penn and Gale. And then we get into our next match, and this match changes the history of professional wrestling forever.
Yeah. And almost paralyzes the biggest star in the company.
Not yet. Getting there.
On the rise, biggest star.
Yes.
Rising star. Stone Cold Steve Austin defeating Owen Hart via a roll-up for the WWF Intercontinental Championship. Great match altogether until that pile driver, and then the place goes silent for like a couple seconds, and you could see there's no movement whatsoever with Stone Cold.
Stone Cold's laying on his back. His elbows are in the mat, and his hands are up when he's laying flat. That's like the only, and you can see he's talking to Earl. You can see that he's communicating with Owen.
And Owen's got to
kill time, go talk to the fans so he can figure out what he's doing. And then, like Stone Cold says, I beat Owen Hart with the crappiest roll up in history.
And if you watch, he's crawling, but he's crawling on his forearms.
Yeah, he has no use of his hands whatsoever.
That is so crazy.
Good job by the the broadcast team though, kind of selling it that Owen hit his head on the roll up, and that's why he stayed down for 3. Although we all know that we later find out about the neck and Stone Cold not being able to move. Stone Cold does regain some movement.
Because he ends up standing up, and the one thing he wanted to do was hold that belt up high. It's the only thing. I think I went back and watched like something on it where number 1, he wanted to hold the belt up high, and that's basically it. Number 2, he was aggravated that Owen never came around and apologized to him.
Yeah, we find out later on, I think it was on the Hidden Treasure show, that he still has that Intercontinental Championship from that night. He told them he wasn't giving it to them. I earned it tonight, getting spiked on my head. It's kind of funny because he always says, I don't think he ever says it's no hard feelings towards Owen, but he kind of lost a lot of respect for Owen because Owen never checked on him to see if he was okay. I would venture to say that was probably something that is still kind of haunting Austin to this day with Owen being gone. Who knows why he never checked on him? It's just the nature of the beast.
Could have been guilt.
Could have been guilt. I don't think so much ego, but pride maybe. You don't also know who was maybe in Owen's ear telling him, "Don't worry about it. Steve's fine with it," type deal. And then nothing's ever said. Nothing's ever said. You don't ever think they're gonna go away, and then Owen's gone, and there's no conversation.
And then the main event of the evening, Bret Hart defeating The Undertaker with Shawn Michaels as special guest referee. This match was bleeping amazing.
Yeah, it's the bread and butter of what the WWF was at this time with Bret and Undertaker.
And all 3 guys hate each other. All 3.
Well, yeah, it was a prime. I mean, we just saw it at SummerSlam this year with the homage to this match with Seth, Punk, and Drew. Same thing. Very good match. Bret goes to use the chair. Shawn takes the chair from him. They have a verbal argument.
Shawn goes to use the chair. Bret moves and
Bret spits on Shawn. And Shawn goes to hit him with the chair. Bret moves and he drills the Undertaker, and then he's forced to count the 1, 2, 3. This match has some significant WWF history to it because this makes Bret Hart At this time, the only other 5-time WWF champion, the other one being Hulk Hogan. So this puts Bret in that Hulk Hogan era as far as championships.
And we know how
Now,
long that Bret Hart holds this title for.
yeah. It is a great match. It's a fun match to watch. Keep in mind, while this pay-per-view is going on, and we're gonna watch it, the three of us are gonna watch it because you two have not seen it yet, from what I've gathered talking to you. We're gonna watch Wrestling with Shadows one night. That is the Bret Hart documentary that was going on during this. It's not a WWF documentary. This is full-fledged Canadian production with Bret.
Oh.
It's talking about the build-up from.
I love
From
Canadian television.
It goes, yeah, because you get it on your normal cable. But it goes from like WrestleMania 12, talking about Bret and Shawn,
Changing
Bret's
that
comeback.
password. Cough.
Bret's past, or Bret and Austin at Survivor Series all the way through this year. It talks about Bret's contract negotiation with Vince. It talks about this match in heavy detail, and it talks about matches later on in heavy detail. But we're gonna watch that very shortly. Most likely once we get done with this.
Are we
whole
sure Bret
97
isn't
thing.
part llama? He's pretty good at spitting on people with accuracy.
He's got that viscosity. He's got that motor oil spit. I couldn't say it. Sorry.
Viscosity.
There you go.
That's your Calgary.
He's got that 10W30 spit. That's what he's got. A 10W40.
That's
Just
your
like,
Calgary.
Just like Rhea the other night when she hit a fan by accident.
Oh, I wouldn't have washed off. But anyhow.
I have $1.36. You step into me. Haktua. I love you.
Great pay-per-view. This is one of my favorite SummerSlams.
Dude, it's so good. There was maybe 1.5 matches on here you could skip through. That's it. Everything else was straight fire.
And the god-awful promo segments you could skip
Okay, yeah,
through
you could skip
too.
through those too. Yeah. But it's Sunny and Sable.
Yeah. It was still good. It's a very good card. I enjoy it.
Wanna go?
I'm reading the comment or the description of the event, and it just says that Todd Pettengill spent significant amount of time calling people while staring at the list of names that Sunny was holding under her cleavage.
Yeah, he was sorry, what's that name?
Yeah. Can you hold it lower?
Richard Titter? I mean,
all right, well we just got done with SummerSlam 1997. So we might as well just go ahead and go to August 4th, Monday Night Raw from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
the
I love that I
Stabler
made him
Arena.
wait. Do you see the frustration in his face? The Stabler Arena. I'm not sure where that is. I don't know if that's in the casino or not.
I have no clue.
There ain't much stuff in Bethlehem.
We know a guy.
Pennsylvania.
We can ask him later.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's
sure.
Amish country. Like Amish country, big arena, more Amish country.
Okay, so the best. Oh my, this is a really bad Raw. The Stabler Arena is a 6,000 seat multi-purpose arena in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, used by Lehigh University on their campus.
Is a Titantron an Amish company? Amish country? Just a sheet, a magnifying glass, and a campfire?
Oh my god!
Just curious.
It's the magnifying glass and the
Little
sun.
bunny foo foo.
Go ahead. Let's run through this Monday night results.
Ken Shamrock beating Kamu Mustafa in 2 minutes. Very, very fast match. I hate Brian Christopher in match number 2. Taka Michinoku. I actually got it this time. I really dislike Brian Christopher, and then of course after the bell, here comes Jerry Lawler.
Oh, the father has to help the son.
Yeah, no kidding. Hunter Hearst Helmsley with China versus Vader and Paul Bearer ended in a double countout. Trying to remember really basically that match. It's another only a 2-minute match. This is a really crappy Raw. No matches over 4 minutes. Well, except
Except
one.
for the main event.
Eef. I feel like it was a lot of playback for SummerSlam.
Replaying SummerSlam. That normally happens at this era.
This is when I messaged Ryan. I was like, I don't remember Kurt Angle being in WWF in 1997.
Yeah,
the Patriot uses Kurt Angle's metal theme.
This is the debut of the Patriot, Del Wilkes, for WWF. He was in WCW. He was one half of the WCW World Tag Team Champions with Buff Bagwell before he was Buff and he was the stuff. He was Marcus Alexander Bagwell. They were Stars and Stripes. They're actually one of my favorite tag teams as a kid. I thought it was so cool, the red, white, and blue, and the Patriot wearing the Golden Eagle mask and everything. Was very big in Japan, ironically enough, being a U.S. Patriot. Wrestled in All Japan a lot, I believe it was, not New Japan. He comes here he's literally here, I think, for 3 months. 2 months, 2.5 months, something like that, and he's gone. He was damaged when he got here. His arms were bad. His elbows were bad. His shoulders were shot. He was looking for a payday, and the WWF was willing. He sold them a bag of goods that wasn't what he said they were. And when he got here, they realized it wasn't.
I mean, to be fair, the stuff we do see isn't horrible.
No. The stuff we don't see, the stuff we see is really good. It's just that his body's starting to break down on him. And I'm gonna say it that metal song is cursed. Because Kurt Angle had the Percocet issues and all that kind of stuff. Del Wilkes was just as bad as Kurt Angle when it came to painkillers and pain meds and the amount that he took at times.
40 or 50 a day.
Yeah, so I think that metal song is cursed. I'm gonna go with that.
Just remember, you're prescribed 2 of those every 8 to 12 hours.
Yeah, I think at one point he says he took like 80 at a time, but if he's high, they're doubled. So he probably took 40 and thought it was 80.
Can you imagine popping 80 pills at once?
You imagine trying to go to the bathroom on that many pills?
Oh.
It'd be like a brick. You're muted down there, bozo.
I said 2 of those every 8 to 12 minutes.
Anyway.
Ahmed Johnson defeating Chains, and I think at the end of this match, Ahmed Johnson is re-kicked out of another
this
faction.
Is where he gets kicked out of the faction. You're right. Yes.
And then he goes away because he's hurt again.
Shocker.
The Godwins defeat the Headbangers in 3 minutes and 51 seconds. They're still pushing the Godwins to a match that we'll get to a little bit later. Then Bob Holly defeats Brian Pillman in his first wearing dress match. And
yeah, it's pretty interesting segments. Like right before it's his match, Slaughter brings him a dress and has him put it on.
He was only supposed to wear it once, remember? And then he bitched at Slaughter.
And Slaughter tells him he has to keep wearing it until he wins. And Dustin makes sure he doesn't win here. He gets him counted out, and Bob Holly picks up a win on Monday Night Raw. I got an idea. How about you give me the belt? Sorry, that's my Bob Holly impression.
Yeah, well, he got a belt, and then Cody turned on him.
And then we get Dude Love
defeating Owen Hart in 8.5 minutes. I have no clue why this. There's a lot of matches on here. They could have skipped out on like 2 or 3 of them and made some of these matches longer, and I think it would have been a lot better.
Everybody gets
Dare I say the product might be trying to mimic the competitor?
No, because it's only this week, I think. I think
you're going to see that a little bit more as we get further into these 2 months from both ways. WWF,
oh, yeah. Oh, no question.
And then WCW sees it works and flips it and does it themselves with a certain spot that I remember seeing about some anti-hero taking out the boss.
But Not a great Raw. It was a lot of repeating from SummerSlam. So it had a couple okay moments. Like Dude Love and Owen Hart was still a good match for at least send the people home happy. But
All right.
a lot of recap.
Well, let's go with what I originally said when we started the show. Live from the Palace of Auburn Hills in Auburn, Michigan. Monday Night Nitro.
It's my turn to have lunch.
Oh, me? Oh, me?
August 4th,
I get me.
1997.
Me now? Are you sure?
Yeah. I mean,
You don't want to go do
watch
next week's Raw?
Oh, you say me
Nah.
now?
Miso soup?
Oh, that sounds so good, especially with the issue I'm having right now.
Ay, ay, ay.
Keep it PG. I know where that was
wait,
going.
we're going to switch, shift gears, go to Raw. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I had the bleep button ready.
Auburn Hills, Michigan. The Palace of Auburn Hills in
there an
Auburn
echo in
Hills,
this room?
Michigan. Who the hell named this place the Palace of Auburn Hills in Auburn Hills, Michigan?
The name of the arena is the Palace.
Well, it says was held in the Palace of Auburn Hills in Auburn Hills, Michigan.
Yeah,
Thank you for that, Captain Redundancy of the Redundancy Department.
That's now the 15th time we've said the Palace of Auburn Hills, Auburn Hills.
Unbelievable.
I think we can put that on a t-shirt. Auburn Hills, Palace, Auburn Hills, Auburn Hills. Good.
Anyway, now that we're done working for the Department of Defense Department,
I said, boy.
we have for match card, and I'm gonna just overarching theme here. WCW runs a really good wrestling program in the fact that there's a lot of wrestling, always. We have Kurt Hennig defeating Mortis. Dean Malenko and Jeff Jarrett defeat Chavo and Hector. The Giant defeats Joey Maggs, Lenny Lane, and Scott D'Amore in a 3-on-1 handicap match.
And that is the
Shocking.
Scott D'Amore, TNA Scott D'Amore?
That is the TNA Scott D'Amore.
Well, not anymore.
Well, yes. He now owns Maple Leaf Wrestling. That is the same Scott D'Amore.
The Public Enemy defeat High Voltage. Alex Wright defeats Scotty Riggs to retain the Cruiserweight title. Benoit, aka Redacted, defeats Six by disqualification. Booker T defeats Vincent. Wrath defeats the Barbarian. Conan defeats Psychosis. Ernie Miller, thank you for that one. And Glacier defeats Damien and Silver King. DDP defeats Ric Flair by DQ. Viano 4 and 5 defeat Hector Garza and Liz Mark Jr. Luger defeats Hollywood Hogan to win the WCW World Heavyweight Championship on the Go Home episode for the pay-per-view.
Well, also, what number episode of Nitro is this?
This is episode 100. I was getting to it in my notes.
This is a special 3-hour
episode, 100th Nitro. We kicked the night off with Michael Buffer in the ring and the Nitro girls following.
And Luger challenged Hogan at the beginning of the night, correct?
It was from the week. This was the whole thing of like, Luger's like, you got to defend so often, and now you're fighting me.
Luger is really probably leading the charge for WCW in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, if you remember right, the Giant gave him his title shot.
Yeah, I can remember in being there in time, and it was like Lex Luger was the guy leading the forefront for WCW, and was.
Well, that's because you never know when the guy in the rafters is ever going to show up.
I remember Luger beating Hogan that night, and it was. I'm a Hulk Hogan guy, but it was freaking cool watching Luger win, he figured out how to take out the NWO so that he could still put the torture rack on Hogan and get Hogan to tap.
Well, the crazy part about it too is the beginning of the night, they're like basically telling you there's a different match. Like we already have a match planned for Sunday. It's going to be me versus Hogan versus Hall. They're looking beyond Luger at the end of the night.
That was kind of the cool thing about it. And I remember Luger winning, and he jumps in the Giant's arms, and like they get the paint thinner out and clean the belt up and get the belt looking good again. But we're headed to Road Wild, and it's going to be Luger and Hogan for the world title at a pay-per-view. So
before Hogan's birthday.
True.
Did we want to cover
Well,
any of the rest?
Sorry. This is 2 days before Hulk Hogan's birthday because this was a Saturday night pay-per-view for WCW.
They also mentioned throughout the night that adult content is possible, that people with
Because there was
children might
no-
not want to.
There was no telling what the Sturgis
Oh,
biker
yeah,
crowd
like,
was going
you
to
know,
do.
could
Yeah,
have happened.
Like
Wait, what?
what?
What? There,
Road-
who?
Road Wild. the
AJ,
Road
they
Wild,
were in a biker like.
Yeah, the Road
area.
Wild. The Road
the
Wild
Sturgis?
pay-per-views took place in
Yes.
Sturgis, and they didn't have ticket sales for this show.
You
just
just rode
showed
in.
up on your motorcycle. But they warned the fans that viewer discretion may be advised because they couldn't control what any of the bikers did out in the crowd.
If titties popped
Um,
out, titties popped out. Like, we got nothing.
Exactly.
Did you see any?
No. It was pretty
Thank
tame.
God, because we had this discussion during the show that there wasn't enough beer to drink to make any of the women in the crowd look good enough to want to see naked.
I don't think anybody wanted anyone to take their titties out. Let's just say that.
It says the attendance for the show was 6,500. That's probably pretty accurate because of all the motorcycles. All I've ever heard the wrestlers talk about these shows is they absolutely sucked. They literally didn't have a locker room. They pissed in a bucket. It was the drizzling shit.
They throw that on Sunny too.
Wrong show, but
I know.
if there was a WWE show that probably would have went in a bucket like the other one did, through on Sunny.
Ugh.
And keep in mind, this is the second one of these pay-per-views, but with a new name. They were sued the year prior because they used the term Hog Wild. Hog is trademarked by Harley Davidson for their motorcycles are called Hogs. Their rider club is the Hog Club.
Hog Rider.
So they were sued by Harley Davidson to change the name, so they changed it to Road Wild.
Do you want me to cover anything else from the night of Nitro?
No, I'm already on Road Wild.
Fine. A lot happened, like DiBiase joining the Steiner brothers.
Oh yeah, I did forget about that part, didn't I?
I done forget
Little
about that
bit.
part.
Can we talk about Tony Schiavone's tattoo from Road Wild?
What?
If you want to, I didn't make a note of it.
Yeah.
Did you get any ear piercing too?
And Dusty's awesome outfit, all denim with the leather hat on.
I won't lie. Road Wild, good pay-per-view. I didn't have a lot of notes because it was mostly wrestling matches.
It was all wrestling matches.
Yeah,
There was
I mean,
we watched it together. There was no backstage segments. It was literally, this match happens, this match is over with. They talk about it for 40 seconds. They go straight to the next match. They did not waste any time. They wanted to get the hell out of Sturgis.
I don't know what if they were like worried about things or what was going on, but it definitely felt odd a little bit. Match card wise, we had Harlem Heat, defeated Vicious and Delicious.
That's like AJ's new favorite tag team name, Vicious and Delicious.
Conan defeated Rey Mysterio Jr. in a Mexican death match.
Ironically, both matches were 10 minutes and 20 seconds long.
McMichael and Benoit defeated Jarrett and Malenko.
That was an elimination match, and the order of elimination was
Jarrett kind of like bailed.
Mongo did all the work. Jarrett bails, and Mongo spikes Malenko to win the match.
Alex Wright defeats Jericho for the Cruiserweight Championship. Yeah, apparently there was like a Flair defeats Six, Hennig defeats DDP. The Giant defeated Savage. Steiner Brothers with DiBiase defeat the Outsiders, but they don't win the belt as it was via DQ, which was kind of weird. but yeah, we'll go with it. And then Hogan defeats Lex for the title, which if there should have been a DQ, it should have been here, but it's a storyline that they cover on Monday.
Well, I believe wasn't the unwritten agreement for this card was that if the NWO lost every match that they were in, they were done. They were gonna go away and be completely done.
That's
kinda
what
what
the
they made the whole
announcers were
card.
saying, but like nowhere was that ever a thing.
Yeah. And then of course you look at the card, the NWO does lose every match except for the World Championship match.
But they, like I said, they kept the belts in the tag match. So did they really win? Like, and it was controversial. Like the Steiners were like, "Why did we?"
Well, it was Nick Patrick is remember you gotta remember Nick Patrick is fresh from being an NWO referee, now back to being a WCW referee. So he's more strict and more in the lines of being a referee and allows no leeway. And
This
the
is true.
Steiners get the upper hand, knock Nash out to the apron or to the floor, drill Hall with the bulldog off the top rope, and go to pin him. Nash pulls Nick Patrick out of the ring as he's getting ready to hit the mat for 3. Instead of jumping back into the ring and counting the 3, which would have got the win, he went ahead and disqualified the Outsiders, and the Steiners win the match but don't win the world titles. I think it was more of a way to keep them safe, make you think, okay, well, the Steiners technically won the match. But then Hogan, of course, 2 days before his birthday, I love him dearly. You knew he was going to walk out with the World Heavyweight title. It's his element. They're in a motorcycle rally.
Apparently Rodman's there. We find
Rodman's
out
there in the
later.
back. They christened the title in the back with
Which
Rodman.
Rodman does a horrible job of.
Yeah, he oversprays the big plate and ends up putting the O halfway over on one of the side plates.
Like, what are you doing, bro?
It was a solid wrestling card. I mean, you got your 2 hours and 40 minutes of wrestling. You probably got 2 hours and 35 minutes of wrestling.
I'm not going
that
to
whole
touch the
card.
wrestling of the 2 months we're going to cover from WCW. All of it was phenomenal. Like, there was not a lot of bad matches the whole 2 months.
The part of this is starting to pick up is 1998 for WCW is by far their best year. So they're picking up the steam headed into 1998.
Actually, wouldn't you say for both of them it's the best?
99 for WWF gets really, really good.
Oh, okay.
The end of 98 is where WWF starts picking it up, in my opinion. Like Austin winning the belt at Mania stuff is cool, but it doesn't really start like growing legs and becoming impactful till probably SummerSlam when he faces Undertaker, in my opinion.
Okay.
I forget what the ratings actually show.
How the heck have we
been going
for 45 minutes already? Holy crap.
Do we want to jump to the next Nitro and just get it out of the way?
Yeah, we'll give you that ability to do that since you got more Nitros this month than he does Raws.
And every one of them, it feels like by August, is running over.
Yeah.
Like by 20 minutes to a half hour.
So here we are, August 11th, 1997. It is Hulk Hogan's birthday. They are in the Denver Coliseum in Denver, Colorado. Dark match was Conan and Six defeated Cyclope and Super Callow.
The Outsiders defeat Bobby Starr and David Moore. Ming defeats Wrath. Their little whole thing they've got going on, Ming and Wrath, and that whole Mortis
it's Mortis and Wrath versus Ming and the Barbarian.
Well, the whole feud. I mean, it's been like first it was Wrath and the Barbarian. The whole thing's a lot of fun for a mid-card feud. It's probably one of the underrated storylines of the month. We have Guerrero defeating Jericho. Malenko defeats Jeff Jarrett in a U.S. Heavyweight Championship match. Steiner Brothers.
Now that match was by DQ. Dean
Was
does not win the
DQ.
title
He
there.
does not get it. Steiner Brothers defeat Redacted and Mongo. DDP defeats Buff. We get like a promo in here too that it's the Ultimo Dragon again. They explain why, something to do with being the last person taught by Bruce Lee. So
Yeah,
we're back to Ultimo Dragon, not Ultimate.
Yeah.
He defeats Mortis to retain his TV title, and Hennig defeats Savage by DQ. Some
That
of the
had to be-
notes.
That had to be. I want to go back and kind of watch that match because I bet that was fun to watch with Kurt Hennig and Randy Savage because of how close their friendship were to each other. It makes me want to turn on the Macho Man rap album.
Beginning of the night, the Giant gets served papers. You don't find out why till later. Obviously, as you can imagine, the Outsiders shoot a promo after they murder those two poor unknowns. There's some talk from the Steiners and Nick Patrick and Randy Anderson, blah, blah, blah. No one really cared. Bischoff tells us what it was a restraining order. Giant can't come within 50 feet. He does. He gets escorted out because, they weren't going to put handcuffs on the Giant. They wouldn't have fit.
I don't think he can put his arms back there.
That too. JJ Dillon has an offer for Sting to fight Six. Sting tears it up. Mean Gene asks what Sting wants. The fans are chanting Hogan. Sting points to the crowd, and they still can't seem to figure it out. DDP got jumped by the NWO. Lex makes the save. Yeah. And it's just, the NWO were celebrating because it was Hogan's birthday and hoopla de da.
And I think they had the following announcement is paid for by the New World Order segment where they were celebrating the NWO's birthday as well.
Yeah, it kind of like
they
went
stole
one
that
and
from
the
you,
same.
Ryan.
It was just kind of one and the same.
All right. Well, August 11th, 1997, Monday Night Raw. They didn't wish Hulk Hogan birthday, but I bet if you watch the broadcast, probably take a cheap shot. From
Probably.
Biloxi, Mississippi at the Gulf Coast Coliseum.
Is this one you could watch?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good.
They don't even show up on the Pro Wrestling Fandom page, the ones we can't watch. Ryan had to go find the results.
Really?
Yeah.
That's strange.
Road Warrior Hawk defeating Henry Godwin in a country whipping match. It was a strap match. And brought back some PTSD from my childhood.
Is that because your mom or dad had a reverse mohawk and face paint while they whipped your ass as a kid?
No, it was just a whipping my ass as a kid.
Ah, okay. I was gonna say no. I was waiting for you to say no, but my dad wore bibs and no shirt.
Come here, boy.
You sure do have a pretty mouth.
Henry's wearing bibs with no shirt. Am I right? So it was either Mad Max or Deliverance. Take your pick.
Scott Putski defeating Tony Williams in 3 minutes, kind of building towards Scott, which is going to hit a knee-crippling halt in a couple weeks.
Oh, no.
I was expecting a little more from Ryan there. Flash Funk defeating Brian Pillman once again, being stopped by Goldust on winning the match. Still in a very pretty gold dress. I love how they're all gold, though. He's definitely taken a liking to how Marlena wears those dresses. Ken Shamrock and the Patriot defeating the Hart Foundation, Owen Hart and British Bulldog. Just pushing Ken Shamrock and the Patriot more to have a bigger fight with the Hart Foundation later on at the pay-per-view where it actually means something. Farouk defeating Chains. Don't know why they didn't put Crush in here, but Farouk beating up on one of Crush's Goonies with the Disciples of Apocalypse. But, Farouk goes over, and we're starting to see a little bit of a revolution again with the Nation of Domination.
I thought the Disciples of Apocalypse were the Four Horsemen. That's my little joke. You stop listening now.
Yeah. That was a. Where are you?
I'm here.
Just like your joke, you're not here.
Don't worry about it.
He's feeding his face. That's what he's
I
doing.
am. And I didn't think you'd want to watch.
God, no.
Shawn Michaels defeating Mankind in 11 minutes. Honestly, as much of a prick Shawn Michaels is, he is damn good.
Well, yeah, I mean, you gotta remember he took half a year off because he lost his smile.
He loses a lot more later.
Are they starting to give you Austin medical updates yet?
He came out with a promo to the ramp when the Hart Foundation was talking about crippling and knocking out Stone Cold and doing this for Brett and all that stuff. And that's about it. They literally said he's not fit for contact and stuff, but yet here comes the crash, and here he comes out towards the stage. So I'll whip your ass. I don't care what those doctors say. And you get that for the next 2 months.
Wonder how much of that was actually true. Like, did he actually not care what the doctor said?
I don't know.
I mean, back then the mentality was if you didn't work, you didn't get paid. So I bet he was eager to figure out whether he was going to be able to wrestle or not.
And how about that dark match, Ryan?
The dark match was Bret the Hitman Hart defeated The Undertaker and Vader in a triple threat match for the WWF title. Speaking of that, I guess it's not here on this card, but is Paul Bear's not pushing Undertaker?
Nope, he's
with
gone
Kane
away.
yet? That's what I thought.
It's like he took like 3 or 4 weeks to say Kane is coming, you're a murderer, and then disappears, letting the audience, I would assume, forget about it a little bit until it actually ends up happening.
It's a good move. We're going to go ahead and stick with you because we're going to lose you for the next 2 weeks after this. August the 18th, Monday Night Raw from the Atlantic City Convention Center in wonderful, dirty Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Hey, we just got wrestling cheap here.
Don't go. Do not, whatever you do, go swimming in the water. You will get stuck with needles.
Oof.
What?
Just kidding.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know. I just always heard the water in Atlantic City was dirty.
I usually just stay on the boardwalk anyway.
You get the medical syringes in your body. You don't know what was coming from.
The Hart Foundation defeating the Legion of Doom. Kind of, Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong. It seems like all the same players are always fighting each other, just in different combinations.
I'm sorry. What was that again?
That it seems like all the same players, Legion of Doom, Hart Foundation, the Godwins, everybody, it has a piece of the pie on each show. It's just what combination are they doing it?
Pretty much, and I think this is that time era, like I talked about, where Vince wanted people in teams.
Yeah, it's
wanted factions. Not to mention, he doesn't know what's going on with the tag team titles at the moment, so he's trying to build up tag teams so that he can figure out what he has to do with the tag team titles.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later on, but it's weird on how they do that. Flash Funk defeating Brian Christopher. Love it when that jackass loses. And once again, Jerry Lawler gets in the ring and beats up Flash Funk.
Autism.
Right? But I don't understand. Like, the first time they start bringing Brian Christopher around, Jerry Lawler denounces that it's not his kid.
He does it the whole time.
Like, how?
It's like Hornswoggle with Mr. McMahon.
Yeah, except they didn't actually look alike.
Yeah, but now after everything comes out, I could actually It could have happened.
You know,
I'm marrying a
remember
little
him-
person.
I don't. I
$20
don't
is
remember.
$20.
I don't remember him saying he had a fetish for little people.
That sounds like he had a fetish
You
for a lot
sure
of
do
things.
have a pretty mouth.
All right, moving on to the next match. Ken Shamrocks defeats the Sultan with the Iron Sheik in 3 minutes and 16 seconds. Class break. The real Double J, Jesse James, defeated Brian Pillman by disqualification in 1:47. I would imagine Goldust has something to do with that.
Yes. I think I think he actually punches Jesse James first, calls for the belt, and then beats up Brian Pillman.
That works. The Patriot defeats Vader. It says here he has Paul Bearer with him. 4 minutes and 55 seconds. I can only imagine that's
Yeah,
going to
but
be
Paul
was a good
Bearer,
match.
while he's being a manager, he's not doing what he used to. He's literally standing there. Standing there.
He's the size of TJ. He can't move around too big.
Where do you want me to be?
The main event. This is a awkward main event. Mankind and The Undertaker defeat Shawn Michaels and Triple H with China and then the insurance policy Rick Rude by disqualification.
It was awesome.
Is this the chair shot?
Air shot.
I'm gonna guess not. This isn't where Brett or Shawn drills Undertaker with the chair again. You'll know it when you'll see it.
I'm gonna go look it up real fast, but I the only one I remember was the one at SummerSlam. But I love that they're starting to bring the Click in.
Yeah, and then of course the dark match again is Brett versus Taker versus Vader in a triple threat match, and it only goes 2 minutes and 37 seconds.
Mhm.
I think the chair shot I'm talking about comes later, like right before Bad Blood. It's a pretty iconic chair shot. Shawn's wearing red gear.
He's got red on here.
Hits Undertaker with a chair, and it's like the front corner of the chair completely bends over Taker's forehead, and it busts Taker open wide open.
Yep, nope, it's this one.
Is it?
Yeah,
I remember this. This was pretty memorable for me because I remember, he drills him one hell of a shot.
I don't know if you can see it.
Yep, see it right there, and then there he bleeds. But it's one hell of a shot with the corner of the like it literally just folds up. Oh, your chair's over there. I would
Oh
fold the
my
corner up for you.
god. I know they popped the
And
rivets out and everything, but Jesus.
the Taker's bleeding pretty good on that one, so I remember that.
I miss this. I was also doing
go.
other stuff while I was watching this.
So August 18th, August 18th, Monday Night Nitro from the Birmingham Jefferson Civic Center and Birmingham, Alabama. The dark match is Yuji Nagata. I figured I'd say that for you so you knew how to say it later on. Yuji Nagata defeated Dave Taylor.
He's like, hello, Nada. I would have known how to say it. And that's Squire Dave Taylor, sir.
Oh, it says just Dave Taylor here, and he can squat all he wants.
Harlem Heat defeats Vicious and Delicious by DQ.
Starting to get kind of redundant with that tag team matchup.
Yeah, the Barbarian.
This is now 3 weeks or 3 times in 4 weeks. It feels like.
Don't worry, they're still feuding months later. The Barbarian defeats Mortis. Stevie Richards defeated Scotty Riggs. Redacted and Mongo defeat Eddie and Jeff Jarrett. Ric Flair defeats Six by disqualification. Ultimo Dragon defeats La Parka to retain. Henning defeats the Giant by countout. The thing on that one is Bischoff comes down within 50 feet of the ring and tries to get the Giant counted out. arrested again because he violated, and the security's like, bro, you violated it. We ain't doing shite to him. And then Larry also kind of corners him.
Is this
Zabisco.
in the match? Is this the one where Henning hits Giant with the perfect plex?
I
Or
think.
no. That's
No, I think it's
amazing-
later. I think it's later.
That was amazing. JJ has another offer for Sting tonight, doesn't he?
I've got notes. We'll get there.
Okay.
Just covering the match card, my guy. DDP and Lex defeat the Outsiders by DQ in a World Tag Team Championship match. The notes. We get. Oh yeah, Fry. This is the one that Raven starts the night with another cryptic freaking vignette.
You love those Raven cryptic vignettes.
Dude, I am over Raven. The dude has he's at least showed up more than Sting, but I think Sting said more, and Sting ain't said a word, or at least said more that's made sense. Bischoff throws like a hissy fit at the beginning of the night, wants his own announce desk and show. Says Larry Zabisco can't be within 50 feet of him either, but no papers were ever served, so that's just Bischoff being Bischoff. Literally, he tried to get the Giant arrested in his match. Yes, JJ wants to know what Sting wants an answer within 72 hours, which draws Sting out. Sting points to Hogan versus Sting signs all over in the crowd, goes and grabs one, and literally shows it to him. At this point, if JJ can't figure it out, he's a moron. And that was the notes I had for the episode. A lot of wrestling, a lot of good matches. That's been the
just to make a note for us, because we hate them so much and we're so happy that it's happening. 13 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter.
40
the
six.
Giants or the Lions are beating the Cowboys 47-9.
They picked off Dak and almost ran it in for a touchdown.
I love it.
There's a new Big D in NFL and it ain't Dallas. That's for damn sure. Anyway, we go to Thursday night's Clash of Champions.
Oh yeah, I forgot you had Clash.
That was why the 72 hours thing with JJ, because in 72 hours was Clash of Champions. Sting, the only real notes I have, because again, this was very match wrestling heavy. Sting shows up at the end of the night with a vulture and spooks the hell out of the NWO. It was really, really cool.
What was
the vulture,
the turkey buzzard or the kid talking?
The kid talking. You have the vulture thing. It ends up down on the ropes and in the turnbuckle. Nash tries to get PETA involved and hit it with a belt.
They kind of make
the last Clash of Champions ever.
Yeah, they kind of make a reference there's something hanging off of the bird, but they never really do anything with it. But yeah, this is the last Clash of Champions.
Clash of Champions 35.
35. These Clash of Champions were always fun for me because I never got every pay-per-view. But if it was a Clash of Champions, it always was on a Wednesday or a Thursday night. And it was
I do have the match card.
Yeah, go ahead and run through that real quick, because there is a title change.
Mongo defeats Jeff Jarrett and wins the U.S. Championship.
There's your title change.
That's a big one. That's really cool. Really happy for Mongo there. Raven defeats Stevie Richards in a no disqualification match. Alex Wright defeats Ultimo Dragon to win the World Television Championship. Now, remember, he just defeated Jericho to win the Cruiserweight and lost it, and then wins another,
Yeah.
Alex Wright's doing some title belt swapping. Let's just say that. Jericho defeats Eddie to get the Cruiserweight Championship.
Well, to retain it. He already was a Cruiserweight champ.
No, that was the whole part of the Alex Wright swaparoo.
I thought Jericho had already beat.
He lost to Alex.
He lost it to Alex Wright on Saturday
Eddie won
night.
it. No, he lost it on the last Raw or SmackDown or Nitro.
Okay.
Lost it on the last Nitro.
At least you
Eddie
didn't say
takes it off
Rampage
of Alex Wright at Saturday nights, whatever. There's a whole it's the whole 2 nights. It's just crazy. It's just Or maybe Jericho was retaining. All I know is Alex Wright swaps belts. It's kind of weird. Psychosis, Silver King, Viano 4 and 5 defeats Hector Guerrero, Juventud Guerrero, Lizmark Jr., and Super Callo. Henning and
Somebody's making a
Flair.
hot toddy.
Henning and Flair defeat Conan in 6 in 5 minutes and 9 seconds. Savage and Hall with Buff Bagwell, Kevin Nash, Conan, Miss Elizabeth, Scott Flash Norton, Six, and Vincent defeat Diamond Dallas Page and Luger to retain the World Tag Team Championships in 10 minutes. Can't imagine why they retained when they had half the NWO at ringside.
Okay, so here's how it was laid out for the Cruiserweight title. Alex Wright defeated Chris Jericho on Monday Night Nitro on July the 28th. On August the 12th, Saturday night, an episode of Saturday Night Taping, I'm taking it. Jericho defeats Alex Wright to become Cruiserweight champion.
And then Alex Wright wins the
So
TV
then Alex Wright goes and wins the TV title.
here.
And
Jericho retains against Eddie. Eddie, remember Eddie not that long ago was a face, and Eddie just like kind of abruptly turned heel there between the whole. He got escorted out when he had his wing was damaged in the sling.
Yeah,
and then he kind of comes back and he comes back and he turns on Chavo, and that's just kind of that begins Eddie's heel run.
We're good,
but it's good. But yeah,
sure we're good.
Nope.
It was like I said, it was a deep. One thing I will have given WCW over this span of 2 months is they upped their storytelling game. I think mimicking the other guy, or well, I should say that guy, trying to hone in on their storytelling.
Hold on, which way did you do it again?
Originally, I went that way, but I said that guy.
Yep, that's the way you want to go.
Yeah, they definitely tried to get in on the storytelling business that was working
Ryan's
for somebody else.
Ryan's looking down at Anna's peasants from up high.
Up high, the guru. Oh, guru, please shower us with your gifts.
Not those gifts, not those gifts.
Not the bucket of Sunny. Not the bucket of... Anyway.
Oh, my God.
So it's hot apple cider and about a shot of whiskey.
Do we want to let old Raw guy there? Or
I'm the youngest one here.
I'm gonna fill it in.
I said old, not old.
These Raws are not on TV,
this is
on TV, and I'm guessing it's because of hockey.
Nope. Wait, yep. I didn't. You're good. I didn't click to the next one yet, so. Maybe.
So for whatever reason, Nitro couldn't lose these weeks because there was no competitor.
Yeah. So on August the 25th, my wife's birthday. Recon and Sniper defeat the Headbangers, Mosh and Thrasher. Takamichi Noku defeats Jerry Lynn. He's headed to ECW. Farouk and The Rock versus Crush and Chains ends in a no contest. The Legion of Doom defeat the Bulldog. Legion of Doom member Hulk defeats the British Bulldog by disqualification. Dude Love beats Rockabilly. Goldust defeats Salvatore Sincere. And in the main event, Vader beats Bret the Hitman Hart by DQ. I'll go ahead and give you the September one, September the 1st. Raw, we have the Interrogator, who becomes Kurgan, beats Sonny Rogers and Jerry Fox. Scott Putski defeats Steve Casey. Ken Shamrock defeats Salvatore Sincere. The Legion of Doom and the Los Boricuas end in a no contest. The Undertaker defeats Hunter Hearst Helmsley by disqualification. Dude Love defeats the British Bulldog by disqualification. And the Patriot beats Owen Hart by disqualification.
Yep.
That sounds horrible.
Thank God they weren't televised.
So, I just want to throw this out here because my wife is making fun of me, and I feel like you guys enjoy that national pastime as well.
Oh, just making fun of you is definitely up there on our to-do list during podcasts.
So she sends me a text message. She goes, "Can I say that I think it's extremely sexy and manly that you're sitting there on a wrestling podcast drinking hot apple cider out of a rainbow floral mug?"
Yay.
I'm assuming she texted it heavy on the sarcasm.
Yes.
Okay. Hey,
And-
we
and
actually have content we can review for the August 25th Nitro.
And she's
It's a
still laughing.
miracle. From the Carolina Coliseum in Columbia, South Carolina.
Just remember that later on when you're in bed with her and anything starts happening, floral mug.
Was that the safe word tonight? Floral mug?
No.
Hot cider, hot cider, hot cider, hot cider.
Floral mug, floral mug. We didn't explain what that was.
Did you say outsider? No, hot
Pineapple,
cider.
pineapple, 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 pineapple.
I don't have a safe word. It's kumquat. Anyway.
August the 25th, 1997. Carolina Coliseum, Columbia,
South Carolina.
Your
Dark match.
matches. Wayne Bloom defeated Bobby Eaton.
And we know that guy.
Squatter David Taylor defeated Scotty Riggs.
Squatter. Love it. It's funny, though. Dave Taylor here is getting more action than the guy he's supposed to be the squire to, Lord Steven Regal. Kind of weird. Just throwing that out there.
Steven Regal's away at this time. I think his nose is broke.
Dude, that guy's broken his nose more times than I have fingers.
Tag team match, La Parka and
Go back to your
Psychosis.
floral cup.
La Parka and Psychosis
Yes,
defeat Ernie Miller and Glacier. Ultimo Dragon defeats Silver King. Jeff Jarrett defeats Redacted. The Faces of Fear defeat Mortis and Wrath. That was a really good match.
So I love how I agree with you on that. I like how they built that whole story. They're two tag teams, but they built it for 4 weeks with tag team or singles matches.
Yeah,
Just
good ones too.
Flipping them and powerhouse tag team matches. This is a championship heavy card tonight.
Mongo defeats Eddie in a title defense.
Wait, are we in October yet? Or September? September?
No,
August
no.
20th. Go back to your floral mug.
We'll call for you when we need you, WWF.
In like August or September, like the second week.
Yeah.
Jericho defeats Yuji Nagata in a cruiserweight title match. Defends. Dean Malenko defeats Alex Wright via DQ, so he doesn't win the belt. Luger and Savage becomes a no contest. I have the notes as to why. Oh yeah, this is where we get the whole Eric Bischoff's in the ring and Sting comes out and like t-shirt. Bischoff, Sting smiles. It's the first time we see Sting smile in like a year. It was a whole big thing. He intimidated the hell out of Bischoff, and Bischoff was like cowering in fear, and I thought he was gonna piss himself. Oh, but we followed it up with another cryptic vignette from Raven.
From Raven. God, I hate that Raven.
Paul and Macho try saying DDP has joined the NWO. They're trying to get in the heads of Luger and DDP. Arn Anderson comes out in a special spot here on the card. He's gone. He needs to be here for the spot stuff. He'll learn. And they offer Perfect Arn's spot as the enforcer in the Four Horsemen because Arn can no longer wrestle. Arn took like a little, hey, how you doing on the back and like froze up and dropped his water. He's realized his career is over in the ring. It's kind of one of them deals. I think one good hit and he could be dead, probably, as we've seen with the likes of like Edge and Daniel Bryan, because screw that other guy. Hope his wrestle dream went well.
I heard it was a nightmare. Plastic bags and.
As long as it wasn't an American nightmare. Oh wait, they lost that right. Anyway, the night closes with Bischoff on commentary for a good portion of the show. Luger accidentally racks DDP after he came to help to even the odds against the NWO. This was a week after DDP accidentally.
How do you accidentally pick somebody up on your shoulders and torture rack them?
There was like 4 guys in the ring at the time, and I don't think it was all NWO.
Did he get sprayed in the face with something?
No, he just grabbed the first thing that was near him. He didn't realize DDP had came in. This was a week after DDP had hit him with a diamond cutter by mistake. So the two of them were off. The September 1st Nitro is dedicated to Arn Anderson because, as I said, he retired on this show in a very...
You're muted.
We no hear you.
You're muted.
We can't hear your spot right now. You're not talking.
I'm playing with myself in your mirror.
Whoa, whoa.
Floral cup.
That is going to get this stream banned.
Anyway.
Oh, I have a couple soundboards.
Pensacola Civic Center in Pensacola, Florida, the September 1st Arn Anderson dedicated Nitro has a dark match of Jerry Flynn defeating Bobby Blaze. Redacted and Mongo defeat Eddie and Jeff Jarrett. Mortis defeats Silver King. Yuji Nagata defeats Dean Malenko. Ultimo Dragon defeats La Parka. The delicious part of Vicious and Delicious defeats Glacier. Lizmark Jr. defeats Viano 4. Alex Wright, champion, defeats Hugh Morris to retain. Stevie Richards defeats Damien. Oh, this is where we get Ray Trailer.
It's the Big Boss Man.
Yeah, Ray Trailer. Who the fuck named this? Oh my god.
It's his real name, dork.
Well, it was very interesting to learn because I think he should have stayed Big Bubba. He defeats Prince Iaukea, and I'll tell you about him coming back. Jericho won a impromptu cruiserweight battle royale that just kind of sort of started inadvertently and continued inadvertently, and members just kept joining and leaving. It was weird. Savage and Hall defeat DDP and Lex. Let's get to the old notes here. To kick the show off, we get an Arn Anderson career recap. Obviously, the whole night is dedicated to his lasting impact. It is also the start of season 3 of Nitro, so again, 3-hour episode. Luger's out, saying how he didn't mean to rack DDP, didn't realize it was him. Asked Paige to come out, he didn't. Ray Trailer says he never had anyone reach out to him after he got attacked in February from behind and had to have back surgery, apparently. So now he hates the NWO and he's going to, work to take them out. Then Ryan Fry, we get the spot. And he's gone again.
Is it your spot? Oh, he's got his headset on. He's so weird.
Well, is it your spot, my spot, Liver's spot,
my dog's spot? AJ's got a spot on his forehead from last week. Whose spot could it be?
This segment is so freaking cringe. It's not funny. And I think I've enjoyed it because they keep coming back to it for the next freaking month. Or they keep coming back to it. I mean, even after it's all said and done, they're running this following announcement paid for by the NWO thing, recapping the spot. We literally get Six dressed as Flair, Conan dressed as Mongo, Buff as Perfect, Nash as Arn, out recreating Arn's retirement. The whole word for word. If you took the audio of the two and played them, they're probably near identical, other than the fact that they're making fun of it. And they're dressed ridiculously, but still to look like them. It's actually the funniest part about this is the NWO redacted here. They don't have anyone playing Benoit. They redacted from this whole segment. I'm watching and I'm like, there's only what the hell? I mean, you can't make this shit up. They redacted. But yeah, it was cringy as hell. the longer the more we go back to it, I keep laughing about it. But God, it was like, we're watching this
Yeah.
stuff, and I have to watch this stuff, and I'm like, can this end, please, God?
As a almost 10-year-old kid watching this, I thought it was hilarious because
I'm sure.
because I'm NWO. But as I got older and got more of the story behind the scenes, it's really in bad taste. Arn is known for like backstage. He will crack open a few beers here and there. And they make light of that. I mean, I've heard Nash say in
He's
interviews.
got the beers on ice, and he's got the fucking
he's
styrofoam cooler with him.
Well, Nash has made mention that that's Arn's actual cooler. And everybody I think was okay with it until Arn called home. Is what I've heard. Arn called home, and his wife basically told him that they made you look like a schmuck on national TV. And then that's when everybody had a problem with it. The whole X-Pac or Six crying the whole time is pretty funny. He's got water spraying out of he like puts his hand up every time and sprays water on and he's bawling. It's to dig, and it's also to build to Fall Brawl War Games where you're gonna get NWO versus the Horsemen.
We haven't got that far yet.
But that's what they're digging. That's what this was all for.
We
was
do
it
get
in bad taste. Now looking back, yes.
What builds directly to what you mentioned with Fall Brawl and War Games is right after this. The note I had was Hogan cuts a promo with Bischoff that drew out J.J. Dillon, and they attack him, which shelves Dillon for a bit. And Luger and DDP continue to be out of sync after they lose a match to the NWO because it was just like you could tell there was something off with them. They weren't gelling as you would hope. The top two warriors for the WCW would gel. But yeah, do we want old hooded figure who just put his headset back on and missed the whole spot about the spot and your spot and my spot, my dog spot?
I was listening to Redacted.
They redacted. It was entertaining, but we could definitely hand him over the September 8th Raw since he actually has content for this one.
Well, we can't because we gotta send him over to the Louisville Gardens in Louisville, Kentucky on September the 7th, 1997 for WWF Ground Zero. How awkward is this?
No go home show for 2 weeks?
Exactly. That's why when you think of Ground Zero, you don't think you completely forget about it actually was a pay-per-view. Really crappy attendance too. 4,963 fans on hand to see it.
But they were in a small arena though.
They are, but this is a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And you missed 2 weeks of content.
Just like you just mentioned though, they're literally 4 days and 4 years to the day of the 9/11 Ground Zero is just kind of creepy.
Yeah, very much so.
Very creepy. But it's in Louisville, so you don't have to worry about anybody bombing that place anytime soon.
Except the college football team playing there.
So we start the night off with Brian Pillman defeating Goldust.
Time out.
Okay.
Quick note. This is the very first WWF pay-per-view that's not named Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, or Survivor Series that does not carry the title of In Your House. The In Your House phase is over with.
Yeah, but it's still on the title, and even in Peacock, it's under the In Your House.
It is, but this is the very first mainline WWF Ground Zero.
Oh, well, even
the poster, I'll send you the poster. The poster is just Austin. It says that's the bottom line with an atomic bomb explosion in the middle, and it just says WWF
and under Ground Zero,
Zero.
It says In Your House.
Yeah, but it's not advertised as In Your House presents.
Oh, okay.
Ground Zero.
10-4. So Brian Pillman defeats Goldust. This is for the services of Marlena for the next month.
This was called the indecent proposal match.
So he gets out of the dress, or did that
He's
happen
out of the
on the
dress
two?
because he beats Goldust and he gets Marlena.
Or I mean, he could have
He
he
didn't
could
wear
have
a
won the
dress in this
previous
match either.
He might have won one of the 2 previous weeks. We'll never know.
I ran through the results. I don't remember.
This was a good match, but this starts a very awkward kind of. Now that he's got Marlena.
Yeah, Pillman uses Marlena's purse and knock Dustin out.
There's a brick.
Jerry Lawler gets the purse and opens it up, and it's got half of a red brick in it. Pillman takes Marlena, and they go straight to the car, and they get the hell out of the Louisville Garden. It kind of looks like a kidnapping angle, in my opinion.
Yeah, somebody needs to call Liam Neeson.
And speaking of explosions for Ground Zero, your next match is what? Scott Putski and Brian Christopher?
Yeah, Scott Putski blowing out his knee completely.
Oh,
Yeah,
this
it
was that knee jerking thing we were talking about not long
Yeah,
ago.
it was not pretty. He does a springboard over the top rope to the floor,
which
and
we've seen him do multiple times, no problem.
And the knee goes kapooey.
Oh, he might not be the only one with knee issues
And then
today. I heard
freaking
Aiden Hutchinson.
Freaking Lawler comes over with the hot mic to the whole crowd and everybody at home. Yeah, his knee doesn't look good, guys, and
Yeah, evidently, if I remember correctly, it was a pretty significant knee blowout because he doesn't show back up on television to wrestle. And it's not even in the WWF, it's in WCW. And it's not until the late 1998. So, a long time off for Scott Putski with the blown out knee.
That longer than the Asian guy that got tossed out of the Royal Rumble was off?
And I believe that the plan was for Putski to be, it was supposed to be like a 3-headed monster as far as the light heavyweight division that they were building. And it was supposed to be Taka, Putski, Brian Christopher.
Mm-hmm.
With Putski being gone, it leaves it to being Taka and Brian Christopher.
The next match, which, Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong, these last couple weeks to maybe a month, there was no such thing as triple threat or fatal 4-way. They are starting to introduce that stuff, right?
This is the very first triple threat match in WWE history.
And this is a very good match to do it. This match was a lot of fun. Savio Vega defeats Crush and Farouk.
Well, sorry, not the very first match in history. It's the first one, I think, on pay-per-view. You've seen where they've teased them or done them on dark matches.
Yeah.
To get the feel for them. A lot of times when you saw 3-man matches prior to this, they were called triangle matches, which was kind of awkward because if I'm facing you and you, but you have to be out on the ring, or I'm sorry, I'm up here, so you guys are down here. So if I'm facing you two, but TJ has to stand on the corner and get a tag to get into the ring, why would either one of us want to tag TJ in?
Uh-huh.
That's how a triangle match worked. But it worked that way because if I pinned you, you were eliminated. So then it was down to me and TJ.
Farouk and Crush throughout this
I
match.
wouldn't want to tag in. I'd want to stay out and stay fresh. Let the two of you beat the hell out of each other.
So that's kind of why they went away from that and went to the triple threat thing where all 3 men are in the ring at the same time. First person to pick up the pinfall wins.
So, Crush and Farouk are beating the crap out of each other. Every time Savio Vega gets upright, he gets taken right back down or thrown out of the ring until Crush and Savio start to beat up on Farouk, their former employer. And at that moment, Savio, I forgot what it's called, but he hits Crush with something and pins him, and just like that, Savio, who was basically out of this match the whole time, comes away with the win.
Cool. And your next match is a little one.
Max Mini versus El Torito.
And not the El Torito that fought Hornswoggle. This is a different one.
And these guys killed it. The crowd loved it. I loved it. It was such a fun match between the two of them.
Well, they had to do double the work just to bring the bar to level.
I don't think so. El Torito was 115 pounds, and Max Mini was 82.
Did we
get so much weight on a little thing like that?
Did we get really good one-liners from Jerry the King Lawler in this one?
Non-stop.
Yeah.
And even
You
some
know what
from
my favorite
JR.
one was?
What?
That Max Mini could walk underneath a closed door.
I remember this. Why did we cover this or something?
This is from the Royal Rumble '98 that we watched that one time, where they wrestled with like the mini Vader and all that stuff.
Yeah,
And
okay.
he's like, Max Mini's so short he can walk underneath a closed door.
Mm.
And then Max Mini's favorite car is a Hot Wheels. I know.
Lawler is absolutely on point with Diggs, but at certain points they get really cringy. Also,
but he always goes just a little too far.
Yeah, but JR jumped in on it too, and I was kind of shocked. And then Vince is in the middle, like
low hanging fruit, my guy. Low hanging fruit.
So does a 9-minute match for the minis equal out to an 18-minute match for the big guys?
So if this match was a 4-star, that means it was really an 8-star match.
Or a 2-star.
Yeah, I gotcha.
6 inches one way,
all right,
half and
fatal
foot the other.
4-way elimination style match to crown the new WWF Tag Team Champions. Of course, Stone Cold Steve Austin dropped on his head at SummerSlam. He's had to relinquish the tag titles, and I believe he's already
he has not,
or he has not relinquished the Intercontinental Championship yet.
So why didn't he have to relinquish both at the same time?
Probably because the amount of days that there's been since they won the tag belts. There used to be a thing in the wrestling where if you didn't defend it in 90 days, you lost them.
Okay.
So there's probably know that he won't defend them in that time, so they stripped them guys of the tag titles. He still has time to get better before it would happen with the
him and
title.
Dude Love both come out and hand the belts over to Sergeant Slaughter. And Dude Love does it no problem, but
Austin gives him shit.
Yeah. Which I gotta give Slaughter props. He's gonna get a lot of shit from a lot of people coming up, especially with wiper blades.
So your teams are the Headbangers, Owen Hart and the British Bulldog, the Legion of Doom, and the Godwins. The 4 teams that have been primarily used on Raw every week for the last month. And with the amazing upset, the Headbangers win.
Wasn't expecting that, honestly. I was, the way they were prepping the LOD, I kind of thought that's where they were going to go with that. But then they're the first team eliminated, using the slot bucket against the Godwins.
Nice. I like the Headbangers. They were fun. They wasn't like technically sound. They were just mosh pit raging rock people. It was.
Hey Vince, do you like Marilyn Manson and 9 Inch Nails? Well, I like Beautiful People. I wonder why. Does anybody else know why he likes Beautiful People? Because I do. It's the theme song on Raw for like a week.
So your next match was Bret the Hitman Hart defends the World Heavyweight title against the Patriot, and he wins by submission.
Yes. And he keeps that sharpshooter in for, feels like, forever. Forever.
Because he's just cringing down on America.
Yeah, I can see that. It's a really good match. Like, a lot of back and forth. It did feel like the Patriot would do a move and then get completely lost of like what he was supposed to do next. But you could see Bret telling him, do this, hey, do that, do this. This is what comes next. I guess I forgot where I heard it, but usually the heels call the match.
Yeah, but Brett's a ring general. Brett calls the match
Oh,
90%, 99% of the time.
okay.
And Brett's the heel here, so Brett would do it anyway.
Yeah. But it was a good match. It was good to keep Brett over strong and with the belt and keep going with Canada, woohoo. The fuck you Americans.
Brett has more championship reigns recently than Canada has Stanley Cups.
Ooh.
That's from the Canadians fan too. Remember that.
And that's your sport.
I was waiting for you to say that's coming from the Canadian.
Okay.
It's a Canadians fan.
I know, but I was waiting for you to say that because it's coming from the Canadian, the Southern Canadian.
You realize Canada has lost more baseball teams recently than they've won Stanley Cups?
2. The Expos.
They've lost more basketball teams than they've lost than.
Wait, who's the second baseball team?
There wasn't. There was just one, but that
Oh.
was the point.
But there was 2 for a second.
They've lost more basketball teams too.
The Raptors and
They had the Vancouver Grizzlies and they moved to Memphis.
how long ago was that?
Pretty sure Toronto's still the Toronto Raptors. AJ.
Yeah, they are. That's what I'm trying to think.
Vancouver, the Grizzlies moved in the mid 2000s.
Oh, Jesus. Well, I don't.
Anyway, we're off topic. We've got a lot still to go through. Let's go.
No
Back.
kidding. We're already at an hour and a half. Then
Well,
Shawn,
we got 2 months to cover. We
Then
usually take 2 hours just for one.
then Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker end in a no contest. This is The Undertaker getting his revenge.
Tell me your thoughts on this match, AJ.
It was a really good match. You had Triple H, Chyna, Rick Rude, all of them get involved. But I hate that we have 30 referees get ripped through, and then the last one calls for the bell. At that point, you just let them finish the freaking match. And it really aggravated me that we had 5 or 6 referees get beaten the crap out of, and then Tim White comes in, calls for the bell, and then the match is over.
God rest his soul.
Like, I get it to extend the story and all that stuff. Great. But damn it! I wanted to see somebody win the freaking match. Just really, really aggravating coming from somebody who is very much invested in, like, the storyline.
Y'all ever seen a football coach go into the medical tent?
No. Ever.
Apparently Harbaugh did today.
Oh dear God. But that is round 0 from the Louisville Gardens in Louisville, Kentucky.
Hey, now you can cover your September 8th Raw.
Yes, sir. I can't. But
Can't?
oh, hold on. Yes, I can. I pressed
So
the wrong.
you should be able to. It was the
I
last
went
week
to
of
the wrong
August.
tab. Went to the wrong tab.
Yeah, some people. There's no wrong tab. It's a good drink.
Then they go from Louisville to Cincinnati, Ohio.
Ohio!
OH.
Go Oregon. I mean, what?
To start Bret Hart versus Vader. That ends in a no contest. It was a no holds barred match that was absolutely brutal.
Did you say no holds barred?
Oh no. That goes just over 11 minutes. Then the second match of the evening, the Godwins defeating the Headbangers. Basically the Godwins kind of get one back in a way, but it wasn't a clean win whatsoever. Ryan, do we got you back?
Sorry.
Gone.
Good.
No. Ryan was taking care of some stuff.
Oh.
But yeah, I was really excited to see the third match of this Monday Night Raw to be a mini match again. Max Mini defeats. Yeah, sure. Pronounce that one, Captain. Paradita?
Paridia Morgan.
Sure. Cool. Perfect. Got it. Cool. Thank you. Another very fast, high flying, or not really high flying, like low flying match. Goes 241.
He also wrestled as the Battalion in WWE as a mini guy. I think he wore a mask.
I think they all are wearing masks, don't they?
Is he wearing a mask in this one, or is he dressed like a pirate?
I don't remember. I thought he was wearing.
That's basically what his name means. Is Pirate Morgan? It's Captain Morgan.
Rum.
It's a mini.
It's a 1/64th scale.
It's a mini of Captain Morgan.
Owen Hart with Brett and Bulldog defeating Goldust by disqualification. They have set up a tournament for the Intercontinental title. So Steve Austin is giving it up, and Sergeant Slaughter says he will be presenting that title to the winner of the tournament, which can't wait to see how that goes. And then Hunter Hearst Helmsley with China, Shawn Michaels defeating Savio Vega and the Patriot in a 3-way dance. Basically a triple threat match. Shawn Michaels and China obviously get involved, and Shawn Michaels in the corner as everything is looking towards the Patriot. Patriot goes to the top rope. Shawn comes over, hey buddy, hey, how's it going? You good? You good? Like, checking in on the Patriot. Triple H gives Savio Vega the pedigree, and then as he's about to start to count the ref, Shawn Michaels just shoves the Patriot off the top rope and just right to the ground. Just like a limp body, like ragdolling off the top rope.
All right, and
no Undertaker.
He's recovering.
Yeah, I know, but still.
He's still mad at Shawn. That was your September 8th?
Yes, sir.
Well, all right, September 8th, Monday Nitro from the Milwaukee Marine Arena in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Milwaukee.
I'm going to start this with just a little note of whoever thought it was a great idea to have Mongo out first for the evening, being a former Bear in Packer country, was clearly not thinking.
Does he get a little boot?
He does, and he even comments on it. Shut up, you Packer fans! Anyway, Mysterio defeats Eddie Guerrero. Hugh Morris defeats Disco Inferno. Chris Jericho, the champion, defeats Brad Armstrong by DQ to retain. The Faces of Fear versus the Steiner Brothers ended in a no contest. Scott Hall defeats Super Callow. Shocking, right? Dean Malenko defeats Psychosis. Kurt Hennig and Flair defeat Buff Bagwell and Conan. DDP versus Luger ends in a no contest. You might be asking yourself, why would they be fighting? They're supposed to be partners. Well, I'll explain. So to kick the show off, Bischoff comes out to the announce desk and forces the re-air of the My Spot segment. It quickly gets interrupted by the Horsemen, who challenge the NWO and head to the ring. They want to fight him. They're pretty pissed off about the whole thing with Arn. Mean Gene eventually ends up in the ring with them, and they say they're not leaving the ring until security escorts them out of the ring. They all cut a scathing promo on the NWO. Flair is visibly pissed and irate. He doesn't even do his whole Mean Gene thing that he's been doing the whole time I've been watching. He's just very reserved and very angry. They stay through a commercial and they're escorted out after the commercial break. We end up with Mean Gene back out on the ramp. He's interviewing DDP, who says him and Luger haven't been meshing well and maybe they ought to just wrestle out their differences, to which Luger comes out and agrees and says as long as neither of them hold back. So that's the top of the show. We're going to get Luger and DDP wrestling out their differences. Made a note in here that Alex Wright is pretty much just a dancing Gunther, except Alex Wright's a bit dopier. but really, they're like the same guy. The NWO
Must be a German thing.
apparently the Spot NWO crew just continue to drive home their spot with Buff and K Dog saying they're willing to fight this evening, and Six and Nash saying they're too busy. That's how that whole match happens. Bischoff and Hogan are in the ring. Hogan says the NWO is actually going to start handling their business. Nobody's going to be messing with Bischoff in response to Sting, having him cower in fear. Flair is a nobody. Hogan's going to get Sting stung. A mannequin Sting crashes from the rafters. The NWO, for a minute, act like it's a serious thing, like it was actually Sting. When you think about what happens a few years from now, it's kind of like, ooh, this isn't good on a rewatch.
That reminds me, we didn't touch base on that, but during the Road Wild pay-per-view, they start dressing up as Sting and using it to their advantage, because that's how they took out Luger to get the pinfall on him.
Was
And
a fake
the
Sting.
crowd
Is this where you get the Sting that has the mask of Sting, and then he pulls it off, and it's literally
at some point, yeah. But this is the times where the NWO starts using each other to portray Sting, and the announcers cannot figure out that is a wig on a person every fucking time.
Well, Hogan ends up
not his real
beating
hair.
Mannequin Sting in an impromptu match where Bischoff is the ref. Yeah, that's how awkward this segment went. Ray Trailer comes, gets into it with Hall and Vincent. Straws Hogan backs out. Hogan and them take him out and tag him with the paint. It says Ray who, because they're like, huh? Who? What? Little note I made during the Malenko and the Psychosis match is a fan tries to get into the ring, and Mark Curtis has this son of a bitch like in a rear naked choke like that.
This is a very popular meme video online. If you go look for it, Mark Curtis takes down fan. This was awesome,
like
because
rear naked choke before he could even get to the competitors.
Mark Curtis, he has passed away. His name was Mark Hildebrand. He died I think 1999. Not long after this, he gets sick. He passed away from stomach cancer. He was very big in Louisville under Cornette with Smoky Mountain Wrestling. He was their top official. He weighs $105 at most ever, but he has been known to take out fans trying to get in the ring, and this is one that's online that you can go find. That Mark Curtis takes out a fan. I found this out just recently and did not know this, that when he passed away, he was cremated, and one of his wishes apparently was he was added to the pyro for an episode of Nitro. That way, when it started and the opening pyro
I
went off,
saw this somewhere.
That's where I saw it at. So I don't know if it's full the truth or not. It's something that I could see that happening. I just wouldn't want to be the fan going, fireworks,
They shot him.
So if it was, that's the coolest way to go out as a wrestling fan. That's what I want to do now. I'm just kidding. But that's what I've heard. Mark Curtis was a badass for being a $105.
Malenko ends up beating Psychosis, and Jarrett comes out, and Malenko chases Jarrett into the back while Deborah was cutting a program on Dean, and you can see she's just like, oh, whatever, we don't need that bum. I'll still keep talking about him. We get Mean Gene out, and this is kind of a big moment here because we get the announcement of who the interim chairman of the WCW is, and it's kind of shocking. It's Piper. What the hell would Piper be the chairman? But he is. Chairman Hot Rod.
Is that a reaction to Sargent being the commissioner?
Probably. Chairman Hot Rod said it's like putting Belushi in charge of the frat house. Yeah. Apparently, Piper has an open Halloween Havoc contract with Hogan that old airhead forgot about, and he's going to fight Hogan at Halloween Havoc in a 20-foot cage. So yeah, and then before the end of the year, we're gonna get Sting versus Hogan for the belt. And he's decided that at War Games, it's gonna be the Horsemen versus the NWO Spot Crew. Because that's where we need to go with this. Nitro runs well over their 2 hours. The second to last match of the night starts at 10 p.m. So you can only imagine that they weren't done till 10:30. This becomes a reoccurring theme for September. Luger and DDP, after their match gets interrupted by the NWO, fight the NWO off and finally appear to be on the same page. And then we get the old fall brawl. 97. Want me jump right into it full feet first?
That's a big splash.
Yeah, September the 14th, 1997, for Winston-Salem, North Carolina, the
Horseman country.
the Lawrence Joel Veterans Memorial Coliseum. 11,939 fans in attendance. The tagline is "The Rage in the Cage."
Very much Horseman country.
This is War Games. This is like what this is WCW as Royal Rumble is to WWF. You watched War Games.
Kick the night off, the NWO attacked Hennig backstage.
Say it ain't so.
Oh, brother.
Seems like the NWO just hates everybody.
Well, stay tuned. You'll find out as I try to click over to the Fall Brawl tab. Why is there an ad in my way? Our match card has Eddie Guerrero defeating Chris Jericho to win the Cruiserweight Championship. The Steiners defeating Harlem Heat. And I think this was supposed to be like a number one contender match.
Yeah, and this is, go ahead and let everybody know who's the managers for those guys now.
Jacqueline is with Harlem Heat and DiBiase's with the Steiners. When DiBiase first comes out with the Steiners, he claims he's the first person to leave the NWO willingly. And I'm kind of like, well, what the hell was Dick Patrick then? Because he was like, I'm out of here.
You never leave willingly. You're there till death.
Apparently. Jeff Jarrett defeats Malenko. Wrath and Mortis defeat the Faces of Fear. This was, I think, kind of the cap to that feud in a way. And it was, like I said, it was a really good, the whole little mini feud in the mid-card was fun with these guys. The Giant defeats Scott Flash Norton. Luger and DDP defeat Hall and Macho in a no DQ match. And the NWO defeat the Horsemen. And I'm not going to ruin the surprise for AJ till we get back to the note. We get a promo from each of the NWO and the Horsemen saying how they're going to beat the other at the end of the night. Typical stuff. During the Macho Hall Luger DDP match, after Hall messes with the refs, he takes out both refs. Larry Zbyszko heads to the ring to finally deal with Hall. They've been having bubbling heat here for weeks and weeks. And he times his shove of Hall just right so that Luger rolls Hall up and Zbyszko counts to 1, 2, 3 and the match is over. And Hall's like, oh, what? He ain't a ref. But that's how that match ends. We get into the War Games. We find out
a dusty finish.
Hennig is in a sling, but he's still going to go for the Horsemen. Conveniently, the last man to enter the match.
Wow, what a coincidence. We just had somebody in a sling, too. A week or two later.
Well, don't worry. The sling lasts all about the time he gets into the ring, takes the sling off, reveals that he's got handcuffs with him, turns on the 4 Horsemen, handcuffs Mongo and Benoit to the cage, starts to beat the hell out of them, beat the hell out of Flair. Flair ends up with his head between the cage and the cage door. The rules for this War Games is you have to submit via submission or saying I quit.
It's submission or surrender.
Surrender.
That's always the rules of War Games.
Mongo surrenders as Flair's head is stuck trying to save Flair from injury. Probably the only reason he said they submit. And Hennig says, nah, I don't care, and slams the cage door shut on Flair's head anyway. Trying to take Flair out. NWO with the new member that was perfectly planned here. wins the War Games, and it's pretty gruesome. They kicked the next night of Nitro off with imaging of Flair. Like,
Well,
it's pretty bad.
they do a really good job of when he gets his head smashed in the door. They cover his head with a huge towel, so
Yeah.
you can't see what's actually done. This was done to write Flair off so he could get a little bit of cosmetic surgery done. Was the reasoning for this angle.
Interesting.
So it plays into the factor.
Like I said, you see images of Flair to kick off the show the next night. Tony says he can't do the Nitro. It's, Flair got him his job with WCW, and he's just really distraught after what happened the previous night. And he walks off the set, which is kind of weird because it leaves Tenay and Larry Sabisco to like call the opening part of Nitro, which
So
it
wait a minute,
definitely
are you
lacked.
Are you jumping to your Nitro now? Or are you
Well, I
just
kind of
saying-
am, just to keep moving because we're rolling here.
All right, well let's go with it. September
Hit a
the
little bit of an
15th.
incline.
September the 15th, 1997. This guy's 10th birthday. Monday Night Nitro is from the Independence Arena in Charlotte, North by God, Carolina.
Again,
Your
Horseman
dark
country.
matches. Bobby Blaze defeated Louis Spicoli, sorry. Chris Adams defeats Kendall Windham. And John the Barbarian or the Berserker Nord defeats Tim Horner. You can tell they are in the South with that lineup of dark matches. I'll run through the card quickly for you. Dean Malenko defeats Disco Inferno. The Faces of Fear defeat the Harlem Heat. Wow, what a skid they're taking. Rey Mysterio Jr. is defeated Juventud Guerrera. Alex Wright defeats Steven Regal to retain the TV title. The Giant defeated Conan, or K-Dog as he's being called now. Diamond Dallas Page defeats Stevie Richards. The Outsiders with 6 defeat Mortis and Wrath with James Vandenberg to retain the WCW World Tag Team titles. Eddie Guerrero defeats Ultimo Dragon to retain the Cruiserweight title. And in the main event, Kurt Hennig, the new NWO Kurt Hennig, defeats Steve Mongo McMichaels to win the WCW United States Heavyweight Championship.
Who we found out was the only member of the Horsemen able to continue after the night previous, as Redacted had got a concussion or something. Shocking, right?
Concussion, Redacted, kind of goes hand in hand. Or
yeah, they continue to report on Flair's injuries throughout the night. Mean Gene and Kimberly bring out DDP for an interview. He restarts his issues with Savage, and they're going to have a match at Halloween Havoc. It's September 15th. Halloween Havoc is October 26th. We're building for the pay-per-view a month and a half in advance. Yeah. We also get a Ray Trailer interview. He wants to take out the NWO. He has to do it alone, one member at a time. Back from hour 2, Larry stays in place of Tony not being there. So now we get Tenay, Larry, and the Weasel. After DDP beats Stevie Richards, Raven comes in from the crowd. He'd been sitting there for a while. And again, slaps the shit out of Stevie Richards and literally kicks him out of the ring and leaves through the crowd. Bischoff comes out to the ring, which brings out all the NWO and their new member. Flair music. Yeah, their new member with Flair's music hitting, and Perfect had stolen Flair's robe. He offers it to Hogan as tribute. They shoot on.
Even worse, he cuts the sleeves off of Flair's robe. It's
They-
the red diamond robe, and he cuts the sleeves off of it.
They continue to shoot on Flair, DDP, Piper, and Sting. Macho and Hogan agree to their challenges at Halloween Havoc. Nitro runs well over 10 p.m. again.
All right. Hey, AJ, I know you're getting bored over there.
No, we're good. But back to what TJ was saying. I was in here watching my wrestling stuff the last 2 episodes while he was watching that stuff. He goes, "Why is this another 2 hours? They went over again." supposed to be an hour and a half.
Well, if you look, every Nitro that's normal timing is an hour and a half with a half an hour of commercials. You figure that makes sense. All these ones are like a 2-hour freaking time. I'm like, holy God.
Think about it. The ratings. WCW wins the 10 o'clock hour by still being on television.
By stealing.
That's how they win the ratings war, is by getting 3-hour time slots. You know what I mean? 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock,
Even
10
if it's
o'clock.
only for
They only have to be on for the first 15 minutes of the half hour to get the half hour.
And they did it successfully the whole month, pretty much.
All right. September the 15th again. Again, this guy's birthday.
Still your 10th?
From Muncie, Indiana at the Worthen Arena.
You want to run through this like you did it with TJ's?
Yeah, Ken Shamrock defeats Farouk in the quarterfinals of the Intercontinental Championship title tournament. Taka Michinoku defeats Pantera, not the band.
I was going to say the band? Dimebag?
The Legion of Doom defeat the Truth Commission, Recon and Sniper, with the Commandant and the Interrogator at ringside by disqualification. Max Mini and Mr. Lucky defeat El Torito and Parita Morgan, Captain Morgan, and we're having chips and salsa in this match. We have El Tortilla and the Captain Morgan. Brian Pillman with Marlena.
Oh God,
Marlena is dressed completely different. Her hair's slicked back. She's wearing black leather.
Oh yeah.
Pillman's got her nose pierced. All kinds of stuff.
I'm married.
Pillman defeats Dude Love by disqualification. This is also a tournament match, quarterfinal for the Intercontinental title. The Patriot defeats Owen Hart. This is sounds like a really good match.
It was
10 minutes and 37 seconds. And then the main event, the World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions, the Headbangers, defeat the Hart Foundation of, this time not Owen and Bulldog, but Brett and the Bulldog by disqualification to retain their tag titles. So they're building the Headbangers up, and to do that, they swap out Owen and put the WWF champion in that spot to make it even a little bit more impressive that they won by disqualification.
Back to the Patriot Owen.
Yeah.
There is another pile driver in there, and as they were getting that set up, because the last pile driver we saw was Steve's, and I was like, well, Ryan said he's not around long, so it would make sense.
No. Let's stay with you, AJ. We're gonna go to September the 22nd, Monday Night Raw.
One night only.
Oh, that is right. We have another pay-per-view with you.
We do, and it was not aired in the U.S. The U.S. people had to buy the VHS.
Yeah, and this is when they started doing their one-off European pay-per-views.
Wait.
This is the only one.
Do we need to go into school mode to tell all our younger viewers what a VHS tape is?
No, we don't have time today. Figure it out yourself. Give it on the Google machine and figure it out yourself.
Go to YouTube.
This is the first one of the European pay-per-views. This is the only one of the European pay-per-views that continues the story off of television.
Yes.
The other ones just become a one-off pay-per-view, and it's not spoken about. All it is the results are given out on like Raw the following week, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
One night only. This whole pay-per-view card is built around the British Bulldog.
Yes.
We are in Birmingham, England. Bulldog is home. His sister is dying of cancer. She is at ringside for him.
She does not look good.
This is all about Brett. This is all about the British Bulldog. And in perfect WWF fashion, this is all about the British Bulldog. So what are we going to do? We're going to take a giant shit on the British Bulldog. I'm going to run through the list again for matches. Hunter Hearst Helmsley, this time not Mankind, but defeats Dude Love with the help of China. Very good match. Very good open. 12 minutes and 50 seconds. Great match. Tiger Ali Singh with his father Jeet Ali, Tiger Jeet Singh. Horrible promo to start their match.
Don't
Neither one of
do
them are over.
drugs.
You can't understand Tiger Jeet at all, and Tiger Ali is the biggest white meat babyface up until Kurt gets here, and nobody likes him. Nobody likes Tiger Ali Singh either. He defeats Leaf Cassidy. Leaf Cassidy is getting ready to turn into Al Snow here. The Headbangers, the World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions, defeat Los Boricuas, Miguel and Savio Vega, in a really good match.
Yeah, but
It just seemed like it took forever. The crowd did not react to this match at all. They go 13 minutes and 30 seconds. Good match. The Patriot defeats Flash Funk in 8 minutes and 45 seconds. Really, another good match.
the crowd was booing the whole match.
Because he's American. The Legion of Doom defeats the Godwins in a tag match, 10 minutes, 45 seconds. This was kind of shocking to me. I didn't think this is how this match would go when I originally watched this. Vader defeats Owen Hart, 12 minutes and 14 seconds. Owen Hart makes Vader look like $1,000,000 in this match. And you can tell Leon is dragging ass in this match. Owen is working him to death in this match, but it was a good match. The WWF Championship match, kind of a dud. They go a half hour.
Yeah.
It's Brett defeating Undertaker by disqualification.
For Brett, it's figure 4 after figure 4, sharpshooter after ringside, ring post sharpshooter. A lot of laying there and taking stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what was off about this match, but it was off really bad for me as well. And then, of course, in the main event for the European Championship, because we're in England, the British Bulldog defends against Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels wins the WWF European title by a technical submission because the referee stops the match, because Bulldog can no longer continue because of a knee injury. The Clique takes advantage of the
They're
outside,
all down there.
and they wipe his knee out. His knee gets pinned between the ring is sitting on a platform, and the crowd is below it. And Bulldog gets his knee caught, damages his knee. That was the start of it. They take their turn with
Hunter,
it.
China, and Rick Rude, because you had the guardrail, his knee, and the ring platform, and they were just taking the metal guardrail and just.
Yeah, this was pretty.
It looked
this
brutal.
Was bad. So
what about winning in your hometown?
Shawn Michaels wins the European Championship, officially making Shawn Michaels the first ever WWF Grand Slam champion. He won the WWF title twice. He won the Intercontinental title, I think, 3 times. The European title, and he's won the tag titles at least 3 times by now.
And we're really starting to see a lot of
yeah. Suck it. Suck it.
You're muted.
I'm muted?
To him.
It's funny because we are over on Nitro too from a certain 6 Nash and Hall. There's a lot of suck it going on.
Because it's click north versus click south.
It was really interesting. I was like, this is kind of funny. They're all suck it.
And it's getting like noticeable that something's coming.
Yeah, and this was a good event for the WWF. They really needed it after the drizzling shit attendance for the last 2 pay-per-views.
Yeah, but a lot of people were pissed about this, how it ended.
This was sold out. 11,000 seat arena in UK. UK was ready to riot. They made the Generation X. They were the degenerates.
They did their job.
They didn't get that name yet, though. I think they get that in October.
Wait, Ryan, are you saying that European house shows just always sell out well, and
because they're never over
it
there.
It isn't just an AEW thing to do it, that it just always seems to happen?
Well, I mean, the WWF did it. The WWE just did it the whole time they were over there. but it's because they don't get over there enough. You're right, AJ, on that sense.
Oh,
they-
so
that
AEW
they
shouldn't
have to
think that
show
they're
up
that
or they won't come
special.
back.
Yeah.
AEW shouldn't think that they're that special. Okay, got it. I'm gonna go back
So
to the
we're gonna
Terrifier meme.
go. We're almost done, guys. September the 22nd, Monday Night Nitro, live from the East Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. Boy, they really
Brand new. Brand
brand.
new.
Yeah. Do you know what else is brand new in the WCW on this show, TJ?
Mm.
Just a certain other bald-headed guy that wears black tights and boots.
Oh yeah, no, I've got notes.
That's
Don't
the
worry.
other new thing. This is a big card. For going over, it makes sense now having all these dark matches in front because I guarantee you the show's over. It's a 3-hour full show. This was them teasing because eventually Nitro goes to another full 3 hours. But this is their tease to it because your dark match is Bruiser Mantismo, who also wrestled in the WWF as Mantar. He's half man, half beast. He's Mantar. Defeats Damien. And then your other dark match
Snake?
is El Dande, El Texano, and Aztec Warrior defeats Oro Jr. Pantera, who just wrestled on WWF television. He's now in a dark match in WCW against Super Astro. I'll run down the card again for you.
Big 48 car disqualified Charlotte out of the playoffs.
Okay.
Okay, back to life.
Why
Rey
was he
Mysterio
disqualified?
Jr.
Failed post race.
Rey Mysterio Jr. defeats Silver King. This guy, I don't think this guy's gonna make it. This second match, this guy is nothing. It just doesn't sound like he would be that intimidating monster of a guy. His name is Bill Goldberg,
Mhm.
and he defeats Hugh Morris. I think he'll be nothing, guys.
Yeah, I don't. This Bill Goldberg guy. His match looks sloppy.
Yeah. Disco Inferno defeats Alex Wright to win the WCW Television Championship. So the German dancing idiot lost to the 70s dancing idiot. Got it. And quite an upset. Hector Garza defeats Scott Hall. I believe there's some interference there. I'll let TJ get on that. The next match, Ciclope, Juventud Guerrera, Liz Mark Jr., and Ultimo Dragon defeat La Parca, Psychosis, Viano 4, and Viano 5. The Faces of Fear, Ming and the Barbarian defeat the Steiner brothers. Randy Savage defeats Stevie Richards. Poor Stevie Richards. He's just everybody's whipping boy.
Oh, it only gets worse in the notes, bud.
Booker T defeats Conan and Scott Norton by disqualification in a 2-on-1 handicap match. And in your main event, Kurt Hennig defeats Jeff Jarrett to retain the WCW United States Championship.
Yeah. Sorry, life got crazy there for a minute if you're a NASCAR fan. Where? There we go. Wait, no, that's the 29th. We're not that far yet. 22nd. Bischoff kicks the night off in Larry's face about his role at Fall Brawl. We do get Goldberg's debut. He has a debut match with Hugh Morris. He kicked out of No Laughing Matter. That was a really big deal. The match was pretty balanced. He had some good offense. Hugh Morris got in a ton of offense. Hugh Morris almost won. And then Goldberg hits his first jackhammer, and they don't really know the name of it yet. And you could see that he had Hugh Morris is a big dude because he didn't hold it as long as he normally would. But he hits it and he wins. The NWO has one of their ads showing the spot. After Disco won the belt from Alex Wright, Jackie comes out and grabs Mean Gene on the way to the ring, approaches Disco, says she knows why he was out for 6 months, and she wants to fight Disco. He tells her she needs to let it go and walks to the back. We get a Hall and 6 promo in the ring. Hey, yo. He wants to know who the fans are actually there to see, the NWO or the WCW. Calls out Luger for a match, who doesn't come out. Then he calls out Zbyszko, who comes down to ringside. Zbyszko calls Hall a loser and heads back to the announce desk that he wasn't going to get in the ring with Six there because he knows how that would have went. Hall takes out Mark Curtis after he loses his match. He's been, beating on the refs ever since a certain thing at Fall Brawl. Mean Gene in the ring brings out Piper. Halloween Havoc. Paul versus Luger with Larry as the special guest referee. Toots' his cage match with the big guy. Bischoff and the big guy come out, shoot on Piper and Sting. Macho and Liz are in the ring. They shoot on DDP in their matches at Halloween Havoc. After Macho beats Stevie Richards, Raven, who was in the crowd at ringside, comes in, has a little quick moment with Macho, but then DDTs the hell out of Richards and walks away. Poor Stevie Richards. Booker T informs us that his brother messed up his Achilles and can't fight, and that he would have fought any one of those three guys in a one-on-one, but Scott Flash Norton says, nah, bro, this was a tag team match. You figure it out. Your problem. And yeah, it ends in a DQ as they all start to beat him down, even though they were winning the match. It was kind of like, well, that was stupid. You could have won the match, and then just beat him down. But all right. Thought maybe for a moment Jacqueline was going to step in as his partner. Would have been interesting to see because she probably could have beat on Vincent. Nitro beyond the 10 o'clock hour again. Ends with the Perfect and Jarrett match. Liz distracts the ref, which allows Macho to sneak down to the ring. He throws the belt into Perfect. And this was a really cool spot because you see a communication between the wrestlers in one of the hidden ways that they do it. Perfect squeezes the back of Jarrett's boot, letting him know, hey, I'm ready for the belt spot. And, just after that, Jarrett kind of and him both come up and Perfect wails him with the belt, gets the belt out of the ring. Ref doesn't see it. Perfect plays it off like he escaped the hold and then proceeds to hit him with the superplex and wins the match. They're celebrating and the Giant marches to the ring to spoil the party of them celebrating. And we cut with the Giant clearing the ring. That is our Nitro for the 22nd. Good matches. Again, the whole 2-month span, the matches have been really good. The other little note, Rey Mysterio has been taking his mask from the previous week, wearing it over his mask, and giving it to a member of the crowd.
And he will follow that forever.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think he does it anymore.
No, but this was, I'm assuming, the start of it. And he went from having a really bad knee injury to apparently perfectly fine in wrestling. I don't know if it was a kayfabe injury or what, but he's having good matches.
All right. Moving on. September the 22nd, Monday Night Raw, live from the historical Madison Square Garden in New York City. Another iconic Monday Night Raw. I'll run down the list for you, AJ.
You want to tell me why
Because
it's
I'm
iconic?
bored and I want to do something. And I'll let you put your notes in. Ahmed Johnson defeats Rocky Maivia in the Intercontinental Championship title tournament quarterfinal match. The Legion of Doom defeat the Nation of Domination, Farouk and Kama, by disqualification. Owen Hart defeats Brian Pillman by disqualification in a semi-final match of the Intercontinental title tournament.
Oh, that's why it's iconic.
And is this the...
Three heads of Foley?
Yeah, the promo thing.
Yeah.
And then they're in the ring?
Yeah.
All right. So I'll lay this out for you. Hunter Hearst Helmsley comes to the ring. He's going to face Mick Foley. I think he thinks he's facing Dude Love.
Yep.
And we get a video on the wall that's Foley talking to himself saying that Dude couldn't get the job done and Mankind is busy or something of that nature, but he knows of a third person that could take care of this because it's been booked as a Falls Count Anywhere match beforehand.
Oh, it's a hardcore match, 100%.
And then we get the and here we go with Bang Bang, Cactus Jack. We get the three faces of
Comes
Foley.
out with a garbage can, and the first business that he does is blast Triple H over the head with it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, he's not Triple H yet.
He's getting there. This is a really good fun match. The pile
Still Hunter
driver
Hearst Helmsley.
Yeah, but he doesn't go by Triple H yet. While
No, but
while
his freaking
China's
name is 3 H's. I mean,
Well-
he's still Triple H.
while China's pants say HHH going down the side of it.
The pile driver on the table spot on the ramp is amazing. It's a lot of fun.
How about the
And then
where
the main
Hunter
event,
moves off of the garbage can ringside
yeah,
and just drops the elbow right through the garbage can. Ugh.
yeah. The main event is Bret the Hitman Hart versus a very lonely. I believe he's very lonely.
Goldust,
Dustin Goldust.
he does cause Owen Hart to win that match against Brian Pillman. Which funny story is, Brian Pillman comes out in a sling, says, "Oh, I can't wrestle. My arm is broken." Slaughter comes out, "Where's your papers? Where's your note from your doctor?" And then he goes, "Think fast," tosses the mic to him. Pillman grabs it with his hand, is like, it's just like, no, it's broken, I promise it's broken, and makes him go through the fight anyway. And then Owen and Pillman are very cordial through the match until they're not anymore. But Goldust comes running down to get to Brian Pillman and costs Pillman the match that way. But Bret Hart and Goldust is a really good match to end the show.
Yeah, I remember watching this as a fun match. Do you want to do the highlights of the beginning of the show?
Oh, with Austin, with him and McMahon back and forth in the ring, where
He has to give up the Intercontinental title.
and then McMahon's got 3 things he can do. You could sign a waiver that you cannot sue the WWE, myself, or any talent if you were to get injured. You could wait, or I'm gonna fire you. And then 3, 2, 1, stunner.
This is the first physical contact that Vince McMahon ever gets in the wrestling ring. He gets stunned by Stone Cold Steve Austin in the middle of the ring on Monday Night Raw in the mecca of all wrestling, Madison Square
The
Garden.
biggest arena it could have happened ever. To this day, if you want to get over, have it happen at MSG.
It's to the point now where people expect something big to happen when they go to MSG. But yes, this is the start of the Austin McMahon feud. They're off to the races on this. But this is where I make note of monkey see, monkey do. McMahon gets stunned, and I think it's the same night, or at least I think it's the same night for you, TJ.
Raw is still taped at this point, right?
It is. So they would have seen this the week before. Well, no, it's live every week
Oh, I thought
because they're in different arenas. They're in Madison Square Garden. They're live. Last week they were
they were taped for a while, and then to counteract WCW getting the
Dirt sheet.
no, there's if they were doing it, this would have been the first night. Because no, they're not. I don't think they're taping them because this is Madison Square Garden, and then next week they're in Albany, New York. But like the 2 weeks before was Cincinnati, Ohio, and Muncie, Indiana. I would think they wouldn't be taped. Could be wrong. No, they're not taping yet or they aren't taping anymore because you get later on into the months. October the 27th, Raw is from Tulsa, Oklahoma. The November 3rd pay-per-view is from Hershey Park Arena in Hershey Park,
but is
Pennsylvania.
now the Giant Center.
Yeah, they're not making that that drive in one night or to do a taping.
I was
So
just
that was
curious
the-
because for a while that they were taped while WCW was live.
Yeah, so that was the 22nd, the 29th from the Centrum, uh, the Worcester Centrum in Worcester, Massachusetts. Your dark match is Ultimo
Worcester.
Dragon.
It's Worcester, sir.
That's Worcester.
Worcester, Massachusetts, and
Worcester.
Worcester, New York.
Yeah.
Well, they called it Worcester.
Well, they're
Same.
also
Well,
south.
they're all their Southerns. Ultimo Dragon defeats Psychosis. Steven Regal defeats Hector Garza. To start the show, match-wise, Diamond Dallas Page defeats Buff Bagwell. Rey Mysterio Jr. beats El Cantino,
El Caliente.
El Caliente, which ends up being Eddie Guerrero.
Don't bury the lead.
This guy that's not gonna make it again. Bill Goldberg defeats the Barbarian. The WCW World Television Title match. The Disco Inferno defeats Juventud Guerrera.
Air Hoovy.
Jeff Jarrett beats Steve Mongo McMichael. And Chris Jericho defeats Six by disqualification. He should be going away before too long. Six, that is. Lex Luger defeats Wrath. Way to bury Wrath on that one. And the WCW United States Heavyweight Title match, the Giant defeats Kurt Hennig by disqualification. A whole card of nothing but singles matches. Notes?
We get a quick recap from the last few weeks of the commentary team, followed with a video recap of the DDP Macho feud. After the Buff DDP match, DDP leaves through the crowd and has a small moment with Raven in the crowd that, maybe teasing something in the future. You get a really interesting little Lucha Libre video package from Mike Tenay, and it seems like this is going to become a semi-regular thing. Followed by the Ray versus El Caliente match. Nobody knows who it is, not even Tenay, who we just had covering the Lucha Libres. You'd think if anybody knew, it'd be Tenay. 2 weeks in a row, he didn't know anything about somebody because he had nothing about Goldberg. And after Ray wins the match, he unmasks Eddie. Mean Gene on the ramp brings out the Giant, who promises Perfect is going to catch hell as payback for what he did to Flair. Sting appears in the crowd out of the blue. Goldberg has his second match with the Barbarian. The matches, again, it's pretty balanced until it's jackhammer time.
Wait, so they're not 2 3-minute matches?
They're quick, but it's like he gets in offense, the Barbarian gets in offense, goes for a pin, doesn't get it, and eventually it's jackhammer time. Mean Gene actually has a photo from Georgia of Bill and asks him a question. But for the second week, Goldberg just walks off. Instead, Mean Gene brings over Zbyszko for an interview, and they talk about the upcoming match where Larry's going to be the ref, and he says the worst thing that he could do to Hall is call it down the middle and call it fair, not playing into being a cheater like Hall. Tony apologizes for not being able to broadcast after Fall Brawl and says we're going to hear from Flair tonight. After Jackie helps Disco win the match, they didn't mention. She grabbed Hoovy's leg. Disco comes outside, and Alex Wright and Jackie are there, and they all just kind of argue, and Disco's like, I'm out of here. Liz and Macho shoot on DDP, and Macho says he wants a piece of Sting this evening. The Mongo Jarrett match happens, and late in that match, we get a really odd spot with Deborah and Mongo, and I made a note, Fry, do you know what was their actual relationship at this point?
They were getting divorced.
So that was happening. I mean, it was kind of, it felt real and awkward on the TV watching it. I was like, ew, this kind, I mean, having just experienced a divorce myself, I'm like, this kind of seems real more than it does story, to the point that he was walking behind her back to the back, and she's like in tears. It was kind of weird. Hall, who's on crutches, we're out of the blue, and 6 come out. They shoot on the NWO's ongoing feuds, with Hall threatening a ref late in 6's match with Jericho. Larry comes out and saves Chris. 6 and Hall are about to jump Larry when Lex comes out as backup and saves him. We do get Flair via a phone call. This is an interesting little phone call. He says he's coming back as soon as possible to get revenge on Perfect. He also says he's coming for Hogan for disrespecting his legacy with his robe. And he's also asking for Mongo and Redacted to kind of go on their own for a little while, handle their own business. As he calls it, the Horsemen need to go away for a little bit because to get back at those guys, he needs to get ugly and do it without honor that, the Horsemen are supposed to have.
Meanwhile, this is the group that in the 80s slammed Dusty Rhodes' arm in a car door to break it and ran people off the road and did
what the
other
NWO
vicious...
did?
No, yeah, doing what the NWO has done to people is what the Horsemen did, but he needs to have honor
Yep.
to do it to the NWO, or doesn't need the. It's just that's weird.
Yep. Bischoff's out. He shoots on Sting and Piper. Nitro running late again. Bischoff joins commentary for the Perfect and the Giant match. NWO end up jumping the Giant. He's about to win the match, overwhelming him finally. But Sting comes out and clears the ring of the NWO, but then drops the bat outside the ring. And the NWO try to swarm him, and he still fights him off because it's Sting and he's mystical and he has a vulture. And that's how we close out our Nitro experience for 2 months. I did make a couple little 3-month span notes. Wrestling and the storytelling has actually been pretty good where it was lacking before. Felt like WCW was on a roll. Biggest improved talent for the last quarter was Buff Bagwell. He has truly had the stuff. Also, I put a little note that said, good luck, AJ. 3.5 to 3.5, buddy.
All right. Let's run this quickly. Let's get this done by 9 o'clock.
Yes, please.
September the 29th. Monday Night Raw is live from the Pepsi Arena, the CM Punk Arena in Albany, New York.
Don't say that. No. I'll take the loss on that alone. What?
They must be taped. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, this is taped. This took place September the 23rd, 1997, so it is pre-taped. Vader defeated the British Bulldog by DQ. Farouk with D'Lo, and The Rock defeated Ahmed Johnson with Shamrock, the Road Warriors.
Does he finally go by The Rock now? Because
it says The Rock.
Yay. Because they were calling him Rocky the whole time.
Has he had his promo?
Yeah, the Die Rocky Die a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. By DQ in the semifinal tournament match. Goldust defeats the Sultan with the Iron Sheik. The Los Boricuas, Jesus and Jose, defeat the Headbangers by disqualification. That's for the tag titles, so the titles don't change hands.
And then the main event match.
The main event, we have The Undertaker defeating Hunter Hearst Helmsley with Chyna and Shawn Michaels.
And Rick Rude comes out with a briefcase, and what's in the briefcase? A body bag. And they try to put The Undertaker in the body bag.
Look at the bodies, guys.
And Brett comes to the ring as well, and Brett and Shawn both get a double chokeslam.
Nice.
To end Raw.
Nice.
And both of them go up there.
And we still have not had any teases from Paul Bearer at all, correct?
Nope. I really like that, to be honest with you, Ryan. It's out there. You guys know.
You tease it really hard in July and August and then let it die.
And then when it actually happens,
boom! We have big red lights.
Which I still don't like. I still don't like McMahon's call of that, but we'll get to that.
That's gotta be Kane. All right. So that wraps up September. August was September, already wrapped up. AJ, I got some bad news, fella.
Did I lose 2 here?
You lost 2 here. your August with 2 Raws missing is horrible.
Technically,
Your
the start of September and August. Just throwing that out there.
your Ground Zero pay-per-view, okay. Your one night only pay-per-view, okay. Nobody got to see that matches until later on. The only thing we ever knew from that was that Shawn won the European title. You're at a point where you had a guy that had 2 separate championships and had to vacate them, and now you're scrambling around to try to figure out who those champions are. You've got one of them figured out. This tournament makes absolutely no sense on the Intercontinental side. I've yet to figure out the actual bracket layout of that.
There
Still
isn't one.
confused.
I've already looked for it.
Sounds like there's going to be a champion crowned at Bad Blood.
I
It's just all over
I
the place.
just want to point out, you have 3 months remaining. I only need to win 1.
Yeah, and it's probably going to be the next month because all I have next month is Bad Blood. And then we could stop this, so we don't have to do November. Or
It's
December.
gotta be Kane.
Just think about it.
Gotta be
TJ wins 1.
No,
we don't have to do the
I
rest
had
of the
to
year.
start. Oh, and whatever. You're gonna live through it, even if I've already won.
You started off 0-4. But I mean, next month is October, so
Screwjob's
AJ
coming.
Yeah, but
has
you could
Bad
already win it by
Blood.
then, so it doesn't matter.
AJ has
Screwjob's
Bad Blood. We
coming.
all know now from from this most recent in history, Bad Blood. What happens at your Bad Blood?
It's gotta be Kane.
TJ has Halloween Havoc. I don't really remember that Halloween Havoc, to be honest with you. I'm gonna have to watch it again.
Pray it shoots the moon, bub. Pray it shoots the moon.
Yeah, the NWO is building. WCW is gaining a little momentum. Sting's there. WWF
TJ
starting to build
just
momentum.
needs to win 1.
I have Halloween Havoc, World War III, and Starcade left. Remember, Starcade is my mania.
So you've got this 1 already.
Does he?
Oh, do I?
It's a Mania style pay-per-view. You're gonna dud that.
Doesn't mean it's dud. That don't
Doesn't
mean it's a dud.
Doesn't mean it's a great card. It's not WWE production WrestleMania
I don't
style
know.
card.
I started out hot. Well, to be fair, let me phrase this, everybody. I didn't book this. TJ didn't book his. We're reviewing it. It's not us.
To be fair, WCW won this whole thing in real life.
Yeah, for WWE to at least win a couple says tribalism back then was huge.
The fact that they're live versus taped, you can't tell me they're not stealing ideas.
I'm gonna let you know when that actually ends. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, and that sucks because I really enjoyed SummerSlam, and I actually enjoyed Ground Zero for what it was, and same thing with. How do you go 2 weeks without showing a Raw?
Leading into a pay-per-view.
Well, to be fair, they showed the Raw. It was on a Thursday. But you can't find it.
Yeah, but even then, I mean, people would have had to have been paying attention on a Thursday.
I mean,
I never understood why they did Monday night anyway. You're directly going against the NFL. Of all the nights of the week, it never made sense to me.
I mean, that's why I like WWE now doing pay-per-views on Saturdays.
Even then, though, now you're going against college, which has drawn a huge market.
Yeah, but it's not as big as Sunday Night Football.
It's tribal. Well, no, it's tribal. Trust me, I've got Sunday Night Football on. My Giants are trailing 7-0 to Joe Cool. By the way, Aiden Hutchinson, yeah, rip, dog, rip.
Yeah, he's never playing again.
I wouldn't say that. He had to have surgery.
Had to have emergency surgery.
It was a broken tibia, not a compound fracture.
But
it's
yeah,
not as bad as Alex Smith.
Raw's actually recorded a good bit still.
Does that give it a negative in your eyes, Ryan?
It just allows WCW to copy the homework.
And then do it first.
Right.
But yeah, because if you think about it, what we were just talking about, Austin stuns McMahon in Madison Square Garden. But didn't Sting do something to Bischoff the week before?
2 weeks prior.
2 weeks prior.
All right, so TJ's got 6.
5.5.
5. Were we really counting the half?
5.5.
Whatever. TJ's got 5.5. I have 3.5. TJ just needs to win one of the next 3 months we have.
We could split. I'm just saying, we could split again.
I don't remember what month we split.
July.
You split July.
I think Ryan did that on purpose so there would be
It was
a
tied
winner.
3-3, and we split July.
Pretty sure Ryan did that on purpose so there would be a
I don't
winner.
think I gave any of you the win in July. I told you both shows were horrible. I thought.
Yeah, that's why I didn't count it, but TJ's like, it's a half.
Yeah, it's
I'm
not
taking
a
my
win,
half
it's
point and
a
going
loss.
home. Taking my half point and going home.
Taking your ball and going home. Okay, Stone Cold.
I didn't lose my smile.
Oh, that's Sean.
All right. Well, some of us have to work, so I'm going off to go to bed.
All right.
Some of us want to watch football
I'm going to go play Assassin's Creed. Bye, everybody.
and comment about
Peace.
NASCAR. Yeet!